Pastor John Whitfield from Morning Star Baptist Church. He'll come up and give us the opening.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let us all bow. Most gracious and loving Heavenly Father, what a blessed day it is to be alive, to be a part of this United States of America, the state of Mississippi, and the county of Harrison. Lord God, we ask your blessings be upon these, our servants, each and every one of our supervisors and every employee of this county. Bless them in a special way. Move them to do that which is right in your sight first, and what is most important for the betterment of this county. Lord, we pray that the deliberations that would take place today will be done so decently and in order. It is in Jesus' name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. We'll ask our Chancellor Clerk, Mr. John McAllen, to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As you can tell, we have a lengthy agenda. It's been a while since we've met, so we're going to get to have patience with us and bear with us as we go through this thing. First up, we recognize our state representative, Mr. Kevin Felcher, and Biloxi Mayor, Mr. Andrew Popo Gillage. They give us an update on the Pops Ferry Road extension. Come on, I guess.
Bring my lawyer up here. No. May it please the board and Tim Holland. We learned that to get hollering that, so I was waiting for the opportunity to use that when we were at the Supreme Court. So I thought that was good.
You spoke for it?
I was just listening. They
you
also,
were
I
listening.
think we wind up there well too. The other one I wanted to use, looking for the opportunity, I met with the Canadian Consul General from Atlanta the other day, and he said, you know, if you were in Camden and you were mayor, they have to address you as your worship. I said, well, that sounds good, but I have to bounce that off of my wife first. So.
I thought Peter did that anyway.
Anyway, you know, I thank you for the time, and I love what you've done with the place. But anyway, today we're trying to move forward with everyone's help to do something I think very critical. You know, we're talking about traffic and so forth. I think you've got a copy of the plans that's been on the drawing board a long time, you know, about 4 or 5 years ago. And we've actually, with the understanding that it's going to be a fully raised grant where only 20% would have to come up out of our pocket, but that's not the case. And you know, what we have is about $17 million of construction to take Pops Ferry Road, 4-lane, and extend it across the railroad tracks at grade, and then all the way to Highway 90, with the improvements to add Highway 90, and of course, you know, crossing, that's the busiest intersection in Biloxi. Now, again, we were shovel-ready, engineering, with about $5 million done, and all but about $400,000 of right-of-way and property has been purchased. So we're ready to go. The engineering is done. About 3 years ago, Matt in the Coliseum was asking for some enhancements. It would cut right through this road, would cut right to the west of the Coliseum, but divide the parking lots. And that's what I'm here to maybe answer the questions, but tell you how we would proceed on what we need to do. But there would be an underpass, as you can see, the road and that right at the railroad tracks, and this is the multi-story parking garage as well as their to tie them together where you can truck and pedestrian under the roadway. Now, and then as well as some enhancements to that. So what we're here today is to ask for your consideration, you know, supporting that request by the Coliseum, tying in the underpass, as well as the improvements to the cutout for the Coliseum. Again, the city of Biloxi is into it for about $8 or $9 million right now. Legislature with Kevin's and the delegation's help has supported this. We have some earmarked grants from Gulf Regional Planning and Senator Wicker's office.
So about $9.5 million in grant money, and Biloxi's doing about $7 million.
$8
million.
So that's where we're going, and this is sooner than later. Again, a couple of benefits. We talked a little bit about bridges. You know, those things were up right now, price where the air is rare. You know, $200 million, everybody stroked out about possible tolls and all that. Well, on the radar is about $15 million to rehab that bridge so it doesn't get stuck. You know, so it's basically it's what has been done to, you know, at Fort Bayou and to the Colonel Rain Road, Wilkes Bridge, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, let me ask you something, make sure I understand what you're saying. The road, of course, is gonna go through the parking lot, the raised parking area. What you're doing is mitigating that problem by having an overpass. Underpass, so the Coliseum people can easily get to the Coliseum. So the road will not interfere with
That's right.
the
You're
movement
completely
of
under the traffic.
pedestrians or traffic.
Right, and trucks
Pedestrians or
too, so I mean, it's
traffic
significant
the Coliseum.
to get, I think Matt uses a lot, some of the heavy-duty trucks and so forth for programs can be, you know, stored over there. But basically, it's to make sure both sides are still functional with the least impact. But
This
again,
won't take out any parking spaces, will it?
There's 550 parking spaces to the west of that road that will be dissected. Okay, without this underpass, people will have to park, cross over 5 lanes, and then walk to the Coliseum, cross over 5 lanes, walk back to their cars, cross over 5 lanes without the underpass.
So that makes sense.
So realistically, without that underpass, that project significantly damages us. Significantly damages.
Especially if they're well
In
packed.
addition to that, Matt, when we toured the property with you, didn't you tell us that you stored your dirt for the monster truck event and several other
Yeah,
things?
that's why that underpass will work for normal vehicles and pedestrians. It won't work for 18-wheelers, so when we have large conventions, we have to stage trucks in that parking lot, because that's the furthest away from the Coliseum, therefore it's the parking lot that doesn't get filled the most. So we use it for drayage, we use it to store dirt for rodeos, monster trucks, bull riding events. If somebody comes up with another dirt event, we've got dirt that we can do business with them. It's a short run for the trucks, so therefore the expense of bringing dirt in and out of the Coliseum is much lower if we had to bring it from dirt pit in the county. It just makes sense for us to have access to what we already have access. We don't want to lose access, that's the key.
Mayor, you said you had that, the engineering is done.
Right.
Does that
Yeah.
underpass
That was
include the
included, yeah,
engineering
right.
that you've already
At
done?
this point in time, it's a $17 million project, and again, 3 years in a row, we were number 2 in the stack. Well, we don't have the time, we don't have, timing is everything to do that. So we're gonna go forward with making that happen. The engineering is almost ready to bid. We hope if everything, you know, rolls out, we're gonna be, you know, opening bids, you know, in December and maybe doing some real stuff in the first quarter of 23.
And I did talk with the engineering firm today. They just had a project bid come over that was supposed to be 180 million and it bid it out at 210 million. So it's just one thing to keep in mind that these numbers are fluid, unfortunately, due to inflation, workforce, and all the other factors. So this project could end up being 18 to 19 million dollars. I mean, it's just something to keep in mind.
The other thing, Kevin, you know, and MDOT has talked about, and we talked about, you know, the bridges with the long term. This is, Pops Ferry is not a state road because it doesn't touch a major highway. This will enable that to happen, and you know, the future the possibilities are much better with it touching Highway 90. And again, you know, the situation with Move On and some of these other things, you know, it's critical. We have a path to go.
But once it becomes a state road, then that means the state will then be responsible.
Hopefully for the bridge and on up.
Now, this board, I think, agreed that we try to help you with the bridge repairing.
That-
But if we change that and help with this, would that
Well-
make sense to you? Or?
It would make sense to me, for sure. But
I'm just
bottom
trying
line,
to
we have a path for the bridge repair. And, you know, not asking the board or anyone else. There's, you know, we're asking for, in whatever buckets are necessary, about 15.5 to make sure the bridge doesn't break down again.
We feel like if we can make this investment and this extension and these improvements, that gives us has a greater chance of us getting funding. for a bridge.
So this needs to be done first?
It does. It's very much why it's called phase one, to be honest with you. It's the most important thing we can do in West Biloxi right now.
Bottom line, what are y'all asking from us?
Two for those that.
2 million?
Yeah, would satisfy, the critical need of the Coliseum, position them to, there's a significant, a little money to actually tie in that road a little bit further to enhance, the possibilities of their on-site hotel or whatever. But that's, some of that is extension as well as the underpass, which is the most costly. That's $1 million in anybody's term. So the 2 million, and again, if we're gonna be bidding this,
Wouldn't be a problem.
we,
I said, you're sitting over there on 2 million, that's no problem there.
I told you, Ron, I wasn't ever spending that money.
Yeah.
I told you.
I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding.
Don't start that, Mr. Ladd.
my legislator said not to, we won't go there. But-
You don't want to start a fight.
But, okay, I would say this, and wouldn't go out on a limb of saying that. If it bids out less than that, we're not gonna ask for more than that. Whatever that costs, whatever it is. And that's what we would ask the board to support this. I mean, it's needed. I think, Matt knows and we know and you know that any more graceful access from Highway 90 to the north, even though it's a 2-lane road, a 2-lane
Let me
bridge.
ask, Tim, you might can answer this. When we talked about doing that other bond, didn't we include about that much for the repair of Pops Ferry, or am I?
The second bond is not to exceed 15 million, and I don't think y'all,
We hadn't really earmarked.
I can
Could
tell you
don't
you
have
that-
it all
please?
earmarked.
That 15 million is gonna go out there. You're not gonna have, you're talking about the one for Stuckey's?
Bucky's, no,
No, no,
no.
no.
Separate.
We haven't done it.
Stuckey's.
We know where that is.
We got room for- we got room for-
But that, y'all, you're talking about the
I'm talking about
Bucky's?
the second bond is, the
Oh,
Bucky's
yeah.
is separate.
Second.
The second bond issue that, I
That was
think
gonna
it
be
was
for
12 million that
projects
was,
and
that
Yes.
was
different projects.
Yeah.
I
actually.
thought we put, but I guess my question is, if that's what we did, which I'm thinking for some reason we did, can we instead use it for this phase
I think you-
one and then cross that bridge, no pun intended, when we get to it?
I think we made it broad enough to have discretion to use it
That
in
would be,
different
do we need
areas.
a motion to do that, or wait until it?
Not at
Just
this
add it
point,
to the
not at this point, I'd wait till the bond issues.
You just have to decide how, the cumulative amount, and
I
make
think
sure
we
that's
talked
covered.
about it, we talked about the fairgrounds, there was.
Yeah, 10 million for you two, and then other capital improvement projects. So
Yeah.
let's look at the breakdown, but maybe vote today on supporting that, and we'll figure out where the money's coming
And again,
from.
I don't think anybody ever, from our standpoint, we're gonna bid it in, A and B, an alternative, this would be an alternative. Whatever it is, and that's what we'd ask for support.
Well, I'll
If it's
make
less
the
than it,
motion,
And I-
so you can.
Before you do that, I'm sure the mayor would agree to give us some of that port money.
What port money are you talking about?
I figured it'd be deaf to that.
You start mentioning that, he can't hear real well.
I can't, you're breaking up, you're breaking up.
That-
We got-
I'll second the motion.
Very good.
And thank you, Representative Felcher, for getting this 9.5 million. I know it wasn't easy, and we appreciate that very
It
much.
was a team effort, I promise you. This has been all hands on deck with the mayor's leadership and Senator Wicker and just everybody working together, including y'all helping. So we appreciate it.
Well, let me say this, to kind of sort of wrap it up. I can't tell you, there's a number of, economic development opportunities that will pop as a result, every day we're hearing what's the plans, and literally be some good news coming, very shortly.
This should make a whole new commercial.
It does.
Exactly.
It
It will.
does. It does.
It will.
It'll
It
open
does.
up the economy.
It'll fire up some of the things that have been staying, hanging.
There'll be a lot of ancillary growth from this, I assure you.
So it's not, it's not a bad investment.
Have to watch what happened when they closed Highway 49 just for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I live in Lorraine Road,
Oh, I was there.
nightmare. Oh, that's right, you do
I was
live by me
there.
now.
I was there.
Well, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
It was backed up all the way to Three Rivers Road, 2 or 3 days in a row, all the way down.
That's a mess.
Mayor, you wanna wait till we're done?
You need to vote when you vote.
We have a motion.
Got a
To
motion.
support.
All in
I
favor? In the further discussion, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, next we have an addendum to the agenda. I want to move it up. I want to recognize Mr. Brett Bird. He explained about Formula VXS to present insurance premiums for its approval.
Yeah, hey, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank y'all for getting me up here quickly. It's a tough act to follow from photos, but mine's pretty simple. I'm here to ask for the approval to move forward with Sun Life as the new dental and vision provider for the county employees. No rate increases if we move to them. We can lock in. Guardian was asking for a 30% increase, so we went to market, went to 9 or 10 carriers, and Sun Life, who we had previously, came back. Their network, in-network access is a lot stronger than Guardian's. So they agreed if we go ASO, which is self-funded with them, we could lock in rates. So since we're doing that on the medical, it made sense to look at
Do
it.
it with them.
Yep, so that's the easy part. The hard part was life insurance, which is the county paid life insurance. The employee paid is staying the same. The county paid would be taking a $13,000 increase if we stay with Lincoln
A year?
per year. Yes, they offered a 3-year rate guarantee, but in the 8th month of the year, if claims have came down, they agreed that they will look at it again to see if they can come off.
The ceiling, but they.
Correct. The
willing to
ceiling
go
would be
up.
13 for 3, but they're willing to look at it halfway through. So the loss ratio on that right now is 192%. So 13,000 a year is not a bad ask from them when everybody else was declining or much higher.
Now, this isn't a pool, this is strictly self-funded.
That's the county paid fully insured life insurance for them.
But I mean, they're not using a pool, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. That's its own standalone annual premium.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Go
I
ahead.
want to do that.
Do we need a motion? I'll make a motion.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank y'all.
And we'll start
Also-
we'll start the open enrollments tomorrow.
Yeah, with the approval now, if y'all are good, we can move forward with enrollment tomorrow.
Yeah, because I think it's,
Yeah.
it's not
We just
a,
gotta, it goes into effect for January 1st. We have the open enrollment this week and next week.
Correct.
So that gives time for payroll to do all that they have to do.
And really, that doesn't affect employees because that's the cost incurred by the
But it'll
county.
be mandatory, everybody will have to enter an e-navigator since we're switching back to self-insured. So everybody will have to go back.
Yep. Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, one more item I want to move up. We want to recognize Chief Pena of the Gulfport, City of Gulfport, Chief Administrative Officer. We're going to move item 107 up to the President.
I appreciate it.
Okay, and what we have here is, 107 is going to be, I'm going to read it.
It's the last item on your agenda.
Last one. Okay. Order adjudicating and authorizing expenditure that's listed as necessary to advertise and bring to favorable notices the opportunities, possibilities, and resources of Harrison County, Mississippi, including the county logo being displayed along with the link displayed to Harrison County online in order to provide access to the public of the resources of Harrison County payable from 002-100-522. And this would be the Gulfport Mainstream Association for their Gumbo Fest to be held on November 19, 2022.
how much?
How much?
5,000.
And can we adjudicate that? I don't think we can.
I would like to point out it's much
It's already
lower than what Biloxi just asked you.
Oh, okay.
It's November tonight.
We're not adjudicating.
November 19th.
No,
So it's
No,
not,
it doesn't matter.
it
It
says
says
it's
19.
adjudicating, but
It's not.
it's not. Okay, gotcha.
Chief?
Sorry.
So it's the first year for Gumbo Fest, and hopefully y'all will also consider putting in a team along with it. There's 2 parts to it. There's a general entry that will be a competition, and I think some of that's in your packet. And then there's also the Mayor's Cup, where our local city governments will be competing against each other also. And we're hoping to see this become an annual event. There will be artists present, and it'll be on the property at Centennial Plaza.
Is it free to the public?
It is.
Okay.
And then you can buy bands to do tastings of all the gumbo while you're there. There'll be food trucks also, and local artists.
I hope the number was free. That's what you asked, wasn't it?
Is the gumbo?
We appreciate it.
Trying to hook you up, but
I mean, for the public, not for me.
no, ma'am.
I'll move that we participate.
Second.
Second. Okay, is there any further discussion?
Are these like professional gumbo people, like restaurants, or?
It's all, no, it's a
I
mix.
don't wanna do a team, let me clarify that.
Yeah.
I know about
It's,
that.
there's, I know there's a group coming out of Philadelphia, Mississippi. They're gonna be but they're not professional.
I got you. So this is amateur.
It's gonna be a mix probably. It'll be a mix.
Did you talk to the restaurant association?
Ma'am?
Did you talk to the restaurant association? They might be interested.
I know there's a couple of restaurants so far that have come forward in it. I think we're up to probably 25 or 30 teams.
They have an association team.
Yes, ma'am.
Robert, can you tell, what is the 5,000 used for?
It's the overall budget.
But we need it for advertising,
Yeah.
right?
You need those monies to be earmarked for advertising?
Yeah, that's what the item
Coming up
said.
on the day.
Okay.
Our seal has to be on. I think you're misunderstanding what she said.
Has to advertise us.
For you to expend it,
All
it has
you
to
need
be.
to do is advertise it, the Harrison County Board of Supervisors has contributed to it.
Right, that your logo
But
is.
the actual money doesn't have to go to
Okay.
advertising.
Yeah, just recognize us as a sponsor and
Yeah,
put our logo.
but what, do you have it budgeted for some specific reason?
I'm reading through right now. I know,
You don't have it, you get.
I can get it for you,
Yeah,
yes.
that's,
I was the messenger.
yeah. I would like to know what it's being used for.
Yes, sir.
You have a budget, I mean, a working budget. that you
Yes.
place in.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you for bumping me up.
Next. Yeah, I know it. Item number 2, order, consider term with the resolution of the Harrison County Development Commission authorizing and approving the sale of approximately 5 acres of real property located in the Bernard Bayou Industrial District to Larry Bloomberg and Associates for the purpose of operating an office building in accordance with the real estate purchase offer.
Morning.
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 This is just an email from this morning. Sorry for the timing of it, but that's from Mayor Hughes supporting this request as well.
What does this email say? Bill?
Supporting
He
it.
basically supports the,
City of Gulfport?
yes, sir.
Okay. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Who's going in here, the DEA?
DEA's moving from the old, what is it, Cadence? Now it's Cadence, used to be Bancorp. They're moving out of the second floor. They're gonna build a 12,000 square foot facility. It's gonna be a sale leaseback through Larry Bloomberg from Dothan, Alabama, which does these all over the southeast. It'll be a long-term lease. Cadence is excited because they get to grow back into the second floor of that building. Mississippi Power's excited
And the
because
mayor's
they're gonna
cool
get
with
their,
it.
the mayor's cool with it. Wrote
That's
a-
my question.
He didn't just say, I'm cool with it, he wrote you
That's good.
a letter, so.
Bill, let me ask you a question. I saw the backup in reference, and I saw a couple of denials from GSA in reference to going out there. They had their issues with power lines, railroad tracks, et cetera.
Being close to
But
the county facility,
Pardon?
they didn't want to be next door to y'all.
Next to a county facility and all that kind of stuff. I think the last part of that backup I saw, I think it was an approval, but it wasn't clear that GSA was telling them, if you build at this particular location, that they will rent, or lease the facility. But was that third backup?
The third backup basically says this is the only acceptable site that you've presented. And before, this is a 3-year rodeo with them. So they started with existing buildings, couldn't find anything, went to build the building, went back to finding us an existing building, and now they're back to build us a building. And the third letter basically says, this is the site that we deem acceptable. That's why we approved it.
But now this is not being sold to the DEA, it's being sold to.
It's being sold to Larry Bloomberg,
And
which
then
is,
he's, so
They
he's,
lease-
They're leasing
it's a
it.
lease, so it'll go on
How much,
taxes.
how much did the property cost?
The property's under contract for, I think, it's been years since I looked at it, but I think it's either 40 or 50,000 acres, $200,000.
I think that's what.
I think that's,
But my point was that GSA will lease that facility from them if they build it.
and they need this, we've been waiting on the streets, which is item number 12, to get resolved so that we could then finalize this contract, which now we're doing, so that we can turn it back to Larry Bloomberg, so they can turn it back to GSA, and GSA says, okay, yeah, yes, we're ready to go.
The point that I'm trying to make is that the reason we're doing this is because GSA is moving out there.
Correct.
Once that building is built.
Correct.
Not someone else, later on, they change their mind and rent it to someone else, or lease it to someone else.
Correct.
I don't know of any provision in there that says that.
Well,
But GSA does not lease it.
That's why I
Well,
was
the
asking
customer,
whether
Larry
GSA
Bloomberg,
has
is not-
committed to that site, Tim. That was why I was asking in that backup.
If GSA says we're not coming to Gulfport anymore, then Larry Bloomberg's gonna say, forget it, we're not buying the property.
All it's contingent on.
It's
Yeah.
not- Does it say it's contingent?
I haven't seen anything that says it's contingent, I haven't seen the contract, so I don't know.
I thought we needed to see the contracts.
The contracts have been, they're submitted as part of this.
It's right there.
Yeah.
I didn't see the contract.
I'm confident that they will. I just want to make sure that that's, all of us are committing to this, the mayor's committed to GSA going out there.
Correct. Which is actually, the entity is the DEA for the
Right.
GSA. but
Right.
GSA
GSA is
manages properties.
the controlling authority for.
Correct. Similar to Homeland Security when they lease the buildings at the airport. It's like that.
Okay. I'm satisfied.
All right. Appreciate it. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion carries.
Can I ask Mr. Labor send me the contract, because I don't see it in the backup.
Yes. Send it to
Send
you.
it to me, and we'll
Yes,
make
sir.
sure there's a contingency in there that if they don't enter into a lease, that it reverts back to the county.
Yep. And every contract has the 1 year, if you don't do what you said within a year, we can always buy it back as well. So,
That hasn't worked out too well, we need to work on that. So,
All right, thank you.
all right, thanks.
I see the purchase offer, you know, I'm looking for the road.
Next up, we have item 3, order appointing a new district court justice court judge, replacing Judge Melvin Ray. As we all know, Judge Ray is retiring effective the end of this month. And we want to get a replacement to replace him for the remainder of this year and the entirety of next year. With the justice court judges race, I guess, on campaign will begin in January. So therefore, this particular judge will reside for the entire year of next year, the entire calendar year of next year, with the new judge taking place on January of 2024. And I'd like to recognize Mr. Damon Reese, who is currently in the public defender's office, has a wealth of information from the criminal justice standpoint. And I'd like to, if the board will approve, I'd like to get a motion to appoint Mr. Damon Reese to replace Judge Melvin Ray.
Motion. Second.
Is there any discussion?
Tell us about yourself. Why you up here?
First of all, I just want to thank you all for even considering me to be the replacement and finish out Judge Ray's term. I'm Damon Reese, born and raised here in Gulfport, Mississippi, educated through Harrison Central High School, Army combat vet. Did my undergraduate and graduate studies at Jackson State University in Jackson, Mississippi. Started out in law enforcement there in '97 under the famous Sheriff McMillan. Again, being from Gulfport, moved back here in 2000. I was with the Sheriff's Department up until 2007, and then I've been with the Public Defender's Office since then. Now currently their Chief Investigator.
Okay.
Thank you. This sounds like you're well qualified.
And we know your mom.
Oh.
Yeah. And we love her.
We got going for him, his mom.
Again, I just want to thank you for even considering.
Okay, you'll I guess, shadow Judge Wade for the remainder of the month, huh?
Yeah, definitely want to ask the board for consideration of that, of shadowing Judge Ray. I know his term doesn't end until November 30th, but I have ample lead time if possible to.
Judge Ray don't mind, we don't.
He doesn't. I've already conversed with him also, so.
But it's gonna be appointed effective December 1st.
December
Right.
1st.
Right. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Again, thank you.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, we have,
Without-
We didn't vote on it yet.
Without any
Oh, you
further
did?
discussion.
You're good.
Without any.
Hey, this is one of my sergeants from the academy.
It's a terrible stranger.
Yeah. Without any further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, the motion carries. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Next up, spread upon the minutes, let's see. Recognize Mr. Greg Whitfield to give an update on the rental agreements of 2022 cruising the coast numbers.
Good morning.
Morning.
We're going to start with cruising the coast first. These are our list of everyone who stayed out cruising. I'm going to give you this copy, Ms. Pam. We brought in a total of $9,600 from cruising. We already have 53 people who are scheduled to come back for 2023. We did have 23 cancellations from the hurricane that we had that came through Florida. But still in all, we still made a good amount of money. And the list that I gave you shows all the individuals who stayed out here, as well as telephone numbers, the amount of money that they spent, the arrival dates, their departure dates, and the site that they stayed at.
so there's Hurricane Ian.
Yes, ma'am. And like I said, we had 23 cancellations because of that. If we had those people come through, the fairgrounds would have been completely booked out.
Oh, wow.
We also had 97 toy haulers that stayed out at the fairground as well. Of course, we do that for free. So that just shows the amount of room that we have out at the fairgrounds, and I think it's a good commodity for cruising the coast. But we did make
Did
9,000.
any of them sign up to come back? next
Yes,
year?
ma'am, 53.
53.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am. So we already have 53 bookings for 2023. So that's, it's up from last year. Last year, at this time, we had about 32 that re-signed, but we had 53. So if you guys want to call some of the individuals to see how their experience was out at the fairgrounds, they'll let you know that it was a great experience.
So I guess we basically broke even. Our contribution to and our receipts from.
I was hoping to get to that 10 grand, but we,
Didn't quite make it.
Didn't quite make it, you got it.
Well, but the 10 grand we give to cruising the coast anyway. This is just completely additional to that. It's not like it was, we were trying to make it up. I
Not
mean,
based on that,
Yeah.
but the justification was that
Right.
we do receive.
yes.
And it's a big
Some
economic
revenue from-
impact for everyone.
If the hurricane didn't come through, we would have made it.
Mr. President,
We would have.
Greg,
Yes, ma'am.
while you're here, where are the contracts that were supposed to be spread across the minutes?
I told him that we would discuss that again, and if you'd like to take time, I have everything printed out here to discuss why we came up with this schedule to make it fair and equitable, that everyone was paying the same amounts.
I just
We
need
can
the
go on and
contract. I
on.
mean, it's
No,
a
she's
simple
talking about the
request.
contracts from the events, like
Yeah.
the dog show you had last weekend and the Highland Games.
The contracts for the year and a half, all you have to
For
do
the year and a
is
half.
take them out of the file and run them and
Yes, ma'am.
hand them in.
Do you want to answer?
If y'all want to do that, that's fine, but I really worry that we're going to get back to this raising prices for this person
No,
and
the
giving discounts
The
for this
contracts
person,
are-
and that's
The
what.
contracts
totally
are spread
different.
on the minutes.
The
It's gonna be
contracts
the
need to be
price.
spread on the minutes.
But for you to ask for pre-approval is what my concern is. If it's just looking back, that's fine. But asking for pre-approval to have
We're not-
control over what happens is what I reject.
Mr. Hallman, didn't you say these contracts, albeit pre or after, have to be spread on the minutes?
After is fine.
After's fine, and the board.
After
But
is
they're not,
fine.
but we don't
The
have
board
to, so.
probably.
I
We
can
just
get
want
it.
the ones for a year and a half that
Well,
have not
from
been
this day forward.
spread on.
And that is fine, as long as we're not posturing to start saying we have to pre-approve everyone. Then that's fine.
A contract is a contract.
contract.
We all agree to the form of the contract, as long as he's meeting the form of the contract and the prices.
And the prices we agreed on per
There would be no
section.
reason for us to have any issues with it.
No, there's
Other
nothing. there
than
should be
later
anything
on, if
secretive
we want to
about
look
this.
at
Yes,
the,
ma'am.
maybe raising the prices or lowering the prices, but
Right.
that would be separate from spreading the contracts
On
on
the
the
minutes.
That's
It's
fine.
just like the Coliseum, you spread your contracts on the minutes.
And again-
Don't discuss price or any of that. Just
Okay,
throw it out
fantastic.
there.
Good, I just
So
wanted to get that clear
I
before
make
we
a
do that.
motion that you bring us
As long as he's
the
meeting
bad
his contractual
contracts, the
obligation, it should be
straightforward contracts
noticed.
to be put on the minutes.
Yes, ma'am.
And the other thing we need to make sure you include in is the money. If you'll notate when these people pay, because I know there was an issue, I hope I'm not speaking out of school, there was an issue that the date on the check is not necessarily the day that you actually get the check, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Because some people write the check and they might be there 2 weeks, they might write the check 2 weeks early.
Correct.
But they pay you when they get there.
Correct.
So if you'll make a little note on there when they pay, I think that'll help our bookkeeping and Jennifer.
We'll do, and we do, that's why I brought all of our receipt books here.
Yeah, yes.
As well as, I called the state auditor's office in Jackson, and here's a letter from Jennifer Salvo, and she asked if you all have any questions about that, then you can please feel free to give her a call.
I wouldn't suggest that we really make a decision on this particular issue that I'm bringing up now in reference to the checks. We do not accept checks or cash for those civic centers. Am I correct, Pam?
Correct.
And I don't know why we don't move to a checkless and cashless issue with the fairgrounds, Greg, unless
Do y'all
there's
have internet?
some issue I'm not aware of.
We
We
do,
do
the
not
only
have
issue,
internet.
the only issue that may come up is, some of the individuals who rent the fairgrounds, they pay $4,000 to $5,000. And a lot of times that'll come with a $200 credit card.
Right, that could be an issue, I understand.
And there's
That's the
also,
only
once
issue.
we have the events, they pick their sections, but more people may show up, so they may use more sections,
Correct.
and then we make more money, so we don't want to discourage that
Or
either.
assuming they're not booked.
Correct.
Right.
But yeah, I'm.
Usually it's
I don't
one event at a time for the
Yeah,
most
that's
part.
fine.
But the main
But
issue
there
is
was
whenever
an
they're paying big
issue
money.
Of when they
That's the main
paid.
issue.
You ever have any
Correct.
checks, bad checks?
No, sir, we've never had a bad check, and we don't have anybody who owes the fairground or Harrison County any money at all.
But you have had an issue with our comptroller or somebody that was posting a payment based on the date on the check
Yes,
as
ma'am.
opposed to when you, so are y'all okay with that? I
Yeah.
just make a note on your contract,
Yes, ma'am.
payment received and what the
Jennifer's-
day is.
And if we could do debit and credit card, that would be
That would
ideal.
be
We encourage it.
But we don't
do
have
encourage
internet
it.
yet, but we've already approved to get internet out there. That's part of
We do.
IT's budget, so we'll have that
We
soon.
have
We've
that there.
already put in the POs for that. so
Yeah, we
we're
just
in the
got it.
process of doing it.
Jennifer,
Okay,
will that work?
great.
They are taking debit and credit card for the RV install rentals, so they already have that set up.
Okay.
And certain vendors have paid event fees. We had a large event fee paid on a credit card, it was $4,800. So they are taking, for some events, the debit and credit card.
What's the percentage on
So
the
why do we
charge?
have to-
It's a dollar minimum up to $40, and then it's 2.25%. So it is relatively small, but as long as the debit and credit cards are taken, then it would eliminate the need for Greg to come to Chancery and bring the money the next day. But in regards to the payments, it wasn't per se the date on the check. I think that might have been a little confusion there. The issue was the fees were paid several weeks after the event and then brought to bookkeeping even after that. So the concern is if somebody writes a check and there's an event at the fairground and the money is not brought after, it could be that it's a bad check. That has not happened, but it's just good business practice to make sure that rental fees and deposit are collected timely enough prior to the event to make sure the funds are in place.
All right, so we'll turn it in immediately, Greg.
No problem.
Okay, thank
And
you.
we do turn all of our checks in. Yes, sir.
It's a statutory duty of the clerk's office to make sure that you have settled time.
Yes, sir.
And we have to follow statute.
Yes, sir, and I have,
And I think the auditors have written up the county on that. So we're trying to prevent that.
Couple of times.
I understand.
Thank
So
you.
the motion that I had on the floor, would that help, Mr. McAdams, if he notated when they actually
Well,
paid?
it's really not necessary except settlement. Can't hold a check out there for 2 or 3 weeks and then bring it to the treasury. the law says you bring it within 24 hours.
24
Next
hours.
business
So
day.
we
Can't we
put
just
it
go
in the
checklist
funds of the
then,
county,
like we do
so it's my duty as
Yeah.
auditor of the county to make sure we follow statute.
So then we
That's
need
the only
those.
thing we've ever done is to try to say, hey, let's make the board look better, because y'all are the ones that get screwed up. Okay, so we don't want that to happen.
Just get the money in it. Expeditiously.
We have, all of our receipt books are here. When we receive every single check, and the date that we turn them in is recorded in this book as well.
But you need to come every day, it sounds like,
I do
or
come,
within
yes, ma'am.
24 hours after.
Yes, ma'am.
The
But
large,
if we can go, if you have it set up for credit cards only, just like we do with the community centers, which don't take cash or check, then wouldn't it be better just for us to go cashless?
It would be
and check?
better.
That's
Yes,
fine
ma'am.
with me, yeah.
That's fine with me.
It would be
I
better.
could do that.
Just do debit and credit.
Yes, ma'am.
Should I amend my motion to do
Yeah,
that as
that'd be
well?
good.
Okay, I'll amend it.
That's what I asked him. That's exactly what I asked him, and I asked him if there's any negative.
I thought they
aspects
did.
of that.
The only
And
negative
he's
to
told
just,
us.
the only negative to going to credit card and debit card is that individuals who pay high fees or pay a high rental fee will have to pay high credit card fees.
Yeah, but we all do that.
Yes, and if the board approves that,
You'll get
I'm
points.
fine with it.
But you get points.
Don't get points for it.
I think it would be absolutely prudent if we could, if he could operate with a checkless and cashless operation out there, just like we do the civic centers.
Well, I'll
And
make
if
a
that's,
motion
if
that
that's
we do
feasible,
that.
we need to move to that.
Well, I'm making a motion because I want it on the minutes that we're gonna do that as well as spread those contracts in the same amount of time,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
manner
Yes, ma'am.
on the board minutes.
Will do.
And just bring the ones
I
from the
didn't
year and a
get all
half and we'll
I think
run
Jennifer-
across.
You gotta come
Did
back.
that help you, Jennifer?
Oh, well, I mean, yes, that would help, but I know, when we had these discussions a few weeks ago, there was also a question about the contract, because there was a contract that was approved years ago, but what's being used is different, and then there was a draft that was done in 2020 that wasn't board approved, that talked about the payment of deposits, the payment of partial RV install rentals upon commencement of the lease. And yes,
I
so
think
I didn't know
that
if that
needs
was
to
going
come
to be
to the
addressed
board.
as well.
I think if it wants to wait till the next meeting, but that contract needs to come before this board and be approved. The most recent 2020 contract.
So
We're
let me-
operating on an old contract.
This is the contract we're currently using,
But we,
right here.
that's a one.
So we have reviewed, let him come back.
It needs to come back to.
Yeah,
us.
we brought him in April 2020 to revise the contract, but we never did.
We did, we just didn't vote on it.
We just
Didn't vote on it.
We just didn't vote on it, we did revise it, we just didn't.
Okay, well, we didn't vote on, I don't know which words it was.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we revised it, we never voted on it.
we never.
We paid to have it done, but we didn't vote on it.
That needs to be done.
Yes, sir.
So you said
Okay.
Second.
Second, okay, is there any further discussion on the motion? Not all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, now who's got the latest contract, Jennifer, you got it, you gonna put it on next week?
I have all three of them, and then I can send that to
The
you.
latest one that.
The latest, the 2020 one that you referred to, Jennifer, needs to be sent to us so we can review it for the next board.
I will have that sent this, after the meeting, yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Greg.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Item 5, order spreading upon the minutes of following executed documents. Motion,
Motion.
second, discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 6, order spreading upon the minutes of following fairground events. Motion,
Motion.
second,
Second based on the
discussion.
Is this the
upcoming
contract?
contract, is it not on? No, he's gonna get them
He's
for us.
just, you're just spreading on the events, the calendar.
Right, but
So we
then,
don't have the contract, we don't have the contracts for
Right.
these either?
not yet.
No, we do, but I haven't spread it on the minutes, but I will.
Okay.
You're just doing the calendar.
Just the count.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Recognize Mr. Matt McDonald, Executive Director of the Coast Coliseum and Convention Center, and Mr. Michelle Many Men.
Good morning.
And Michelle.
I was going to recognize one of my distinguished commissioners, Mr. Lenny Sawyer. Marlon, thank you for
My
appointing
pleasure.
him. Thank you. Lenny does a good job, keeps us on the right track every meeting. And his attendance is excellent.
Good. I was gonna check on him on that.
I also want to recognize my great assistant director, okay, Michelle Miningman. Michelle does so much for us. All the projects that y'all are seeing that's taking place out there, she's the brainchild behind it, so.
Look at this. Oh, gotcha. I like that one.
Are they done?
In case they don't come to the table.
The only difference are the corner logos between Coastal Mississippi and then the county logo.
What we're here today to talk to y'all about.
They're very similar.
What
It
we're
was Michelle's
here.
idea to put our seal right on the coast, in the middle of that. I want to make sure, Michelle, yeah.
That's actually
We
the
can do both.
silhouette of your
Guys, we can do both. But what we're here to talk about is a marketing opportunity. And it's not just a one-time deal, a one-year deal. The last time we got a new basketball floor was after Katrina, which was 2007. 2007 is when we actually received the floor. We had so many repairs that we weren't worried about playing basketball. But that finish that was on that floor exists today. So do the math, that's 15 years. So it's time for us to completely refinish that floor, take it to bare wood, and it becomes a blank canvas. We can do whatever we want to do. And this was the design that our team came up with, and we wanted to give recognition to y'all. In 2007, we didn't fall under y'all's purview. Now we do. So we certainly would like to recognize y'all in this fashion. The cost of redoing that floor, to take it to bare wood, refinish it, put in the logos, the stain, the differentiation in the stain to create that look, is going to run us about $31,000. Okay, we're using a company that does all of Gulfport High School's work on an annual basis, so they're very reputable, very well recognized. Another thing, though, we want to add to the deal that we didn't put in our request that I think is so important. All of us, every one of us in this room, including ourselves, sometimes don't do a good enough job telling our stories, okay, marketing the assets that we have. And there are so many assets in this county that we want to tell people about. We're proud to be in Harrison County. We're proud to be underneath y'all. And the assets that y'all control, we have 2 state-of-the-art video boards. One inside the Coliseum, a 4-sided Daktronics scoreboard that's 6 millimeter, and a brand new Highway 90 marquee that's going to be installed in 3 weeks. It was part of the project to redo that parking lot. We included that in the deal and it was approved. So we're getting basically a $350,000 brand new highway sign that's going to be the nicest outdoor video display anywhere in Harrison County.
Now, the Pops Ferry Road extension will not affect that, right?
No. No. Actually, it's right by our entrance gate. The only thing that highway, that the Pops Ferry will affect, that traffic light will go away and we'll move to Pops Ferry.
Is that okay?
Yeah, we're fine with that, okay? Hopefully with what y'all did today, and thank y'all for doing that. I wasn't here to influence y'all. That was y'all's decision. The only thing I would ask that y'all consider, Fofo came to us and wanted a lot of money, and we just didn't have it. So whatever y'all participate with, I hope that y'all will let them know that that includes us too, since we're part of y'all. But with that being said, let's get back to this. We have the ability, 28 hockey games, monster trucks, rodeos, to advertise your assets, whether it's Sand Beach, whether it's the fairgrounds. I really would try to stay away from promoting individual events. I'd really like to market your assets, your parks, your libraries, your other facilities. We don't mind advertising your facilities, the fairgrounds, the community centers, because these video boards don't just put still pictures up. We can put video up. The only thing is, and Rebecca, you can relate to this with your advertising background, the longer the message is or the busier it is, it gets lost. So we like things that hit you right between the eyes and stay right between your ears. So that's what we are asking for, and that's what we're bringing to the table. And with the basketball floor, your logos will be there more than 10 years. So the money we're asking for, which is a third of it, $10,000, will go to offset our cost to redo the floor. And in addition, we want to include promoting your assets on our inside scoreboard and our outside brand new marquee. And we'll do that on an annual basis, because I'm sure from time to time we'll have to come back and get a little love from y'all, just a little, okay? And we don't mind helping and promoting what y'all have in addition to what we have. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay.
So it'll last 10 years for 10,000?
The what now?
So it'll go 10 years for?
Oh, yes, ma'am, the floor. We might have to get a top coat put on it, okay, but that's normal maintenance.
Now, this don't go over the ice, or does the ice go?
Oh, no, when we do, now that we have hockey, we put a cover on the ice, and then we put the basketball floor on the cover. And we've been able to do a number of events. We do Mardi Gras over ice, we do rodeo over ice, we do concerts over ice. We don't turn business down, we can't afford to.
That is the wood floors?
Yes, sir. That actually, when we bought that floor in 2007, because of the help we got from FEMA and our insurance proceeds, that was one of the nicest basketball floors in the state of Mississippi. There were 19 NBA teams that had the identical court that we have.
Now, is
The
this
quality.
the same? You're still gonna get a good one, I believe, in different straight for it.
No, the court's the same. We're taking it to bare wood. No, there's nothing wrong with it. To buy a brand new basketball court would cost $150,000.
Just to refurbish.
Just sand it down and then
That's
put
gonna
this
We're
in
taking it to bare wood.
And repaint it or
Stain it.
stain it?
Yes, sir. We're gonna do stain this time.
So that's gonna help out when
Doesn't it-
basketball.
Well, and we may go back, Kent, with your help, to try to convince the state to bring parts of the state basketball tournament back here. We got it one time, but for whatever reason, they stuck on staying in Jackson, but they're moving the football around so they can
need
move the
some
basketball
water,
around.
So they might change their mind.
Oh, I think they're moving in that direction. I do. And we want to be ready for that.
But I'll make a motion that we help it out with 10,000.
Second.
Okay. Second, one more discussion, part of discussion. On the, when the basketball court is up, I know one year there's a good bit of slipping. This year redoing the floor is gonna help that.
Pardon me now?
You know what, I think it was last year when they played the high school basketball hoop fest, there was a good bit of slipping going on. Redoing this floor should help that.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Not only that, but just the ability for us to market your other assets. Now, I would ask y'all, who is the point person that we need to key on to get those images or those videos?
Kim Compton, I would
Okay.
say. She's
All right.
our PO person, but.
Well, please
I gave
let her know that she now has not one, but 2 video boards that can be utilized to promote the assets of Harrison County. And that sign on 90, if you bought digital time from Lamar, it would cost you a bunch of money compared to what you're getting
Monthly
as
would
part
be
of this
that
bid.
much.
Yeah.
Kim, do you need to get with IT? Do you have the highest vector resolution and all of our art and colors?
Oh, yeah.
You already have all that? The high-res vectors, because with this size and the quality we're gonna need, I'm gonna get with Robbie.
Yeah, I'll have to. I sent them what I had.
I don't think that resolution's high enough. What did you get, Michelle, do you know?
No, I don't have the specs with me today, but I'll reach out with Kim on via email.
Yeah, y'all
Get her
connect.
what she
But
needs.
not just the logo, I'm talking about visuals of your assets where we get those on the
Oh,
video.
we got
board.
that.
Oh, the
We
video
want
board?
it.
We spent
Yes.
a ton of time getting that for our website,
Right.
so we have probably 10 hours of beautiful video.
Okay, we want that.
Ship Island, everything.
Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all so much.
All right.
This
Without
was
any further
great.
discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye. All
Aye.
opposed?
Thanks, y'all.
Yes, thank you.
Tim
Next
Hall,
up,
Hobby Tower.
Roll Tide.
Y'all all-
Thank you.
Agenda item numbers 8 through 18 has been placed on the consent agenda, same appearing to be routine, non-controversial matters, which all supervisors like to agree.
Mr. President, may I like to discuss under the consent items 11 and 16.
11 and 16. Okay. You want to
Motion to approve with the exception of
11 and
11 and
16.
16.
Second.
discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. All right. Number 11.
On 11, we got the spark light. One of the addresses in terms of spark light is North Swan Road. Do we have a facility, a county facility on North Swan Road?
Not that I know of.
Me either, so why are we paying for a spark light on North Swan Road, $230-some.
I think, Marlon, at one time, they were gonna put a, weren't they gonna build, wasn't there
Yeah,
a
but
big
this is-
hospital
this
building or
is
something?
last month. This is last month.
Is this for internet or cable television?
It's-
Do you remember what page it is?
89.
Page 89?
Page 89, I think the second one on the claims docket. Page 89 is Parklight, something, I got the address if you need it, North Swan Road.
That's gonna be the, E911 tower.
Tower, okay. I knew there was something there, but I didn't know
97.
That's
exactly
for
what
the
it
tower.
was.
Why would we
Why are
have
we
that
paying
at a
them?
tower?
They should pay us.
Sparklight,
They should be paying us.
Sparklight, it says North Swan.
Sir, I don't have the
Do you have
invoice in
that?
front of me, but it's likely communications fees for the E911 tower out there, so it's probably
That's,
related to that.
that Sparklight would be necessary for your communications?
They must have done some
At a
work.
tower?
I'll get the details from Gail on that.
It says monthly service. It's,
Well, look, why don't we make a motion not to pay until we do a little bit of homework and see what
We'll
it's
get that
for?
for you.
We need to find out what that is. I can give you the address.
yeah, it's 15272.
Would the tower have an address?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is. That is the address
It
to
is
the
the
tower.
address for the tower.
15272 North Swan Road.
It should be.
So I'll move that we not pay that until maybe Monday,
Yes, ma'am.
or
We'll
at
get
least
that for you.
postpone it till we get more info.
So it's
Second.
80 something.
number.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Wait, don't you have a motion to approve the claims docket with the exception of?
Page
11 and
whatever it was?
16.
Oh, we
Oh,
did
we
that.
did,
I
I
think
thought
we
we did
did
that,
that.
we did
We
that.
did-
Yeah.
we
I
have-
think
you know-
we approved everything
Yeah.
except
Yeah.
11 and 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that.
Now we're on 16.
Now, however-
I mean, excuse me,
No.
we're on 11.
Now, wait,
We're on
wait.
11, we're looking at number, page 89, Sparklight.
No, Tim's right. What 11 simply identifies the whole claims docket.
Right.
What we need to do is approve the claims docket, accepting that Sparklight.
Except for,
Right.
okay, I'm
On
sorry.
page
So we
And
haven't
number
approved, we
16.
have not approved the claims
All right,
docket.
I
You're
didn't hear
right.
y'all approve it.
Okay.
11 is simply identifying
So I'll
the
move
item
we
on the
approve the
agenda.
claims docket with the exception of number 80,
It's page 89.
page 89,
items
the
on
Sparklight
Item.
North Swan Road.
Yeah,
What's the item, okay?
sure like to know.
Number 11 agenda.
Well, and you mentioned 16.
And then you have
We're going to
number,
16. 16
Number
is
11
just-
agenda item.
yeah,
16 is just a regular
16
agenda.
is just a regular
16 is
agenda.
not part of
We
the
didn't vote on that.
claims docket.
Okay, we need a second on the
Second.
claims
I
docket.
second.
Okay, without any further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
this,
All opposed, motion carries.
Item 16,
this one's on top.
now we're going back to contracts. There's some contracts for some of those community centers were approved, but the contract obligations or the cost did not match the revenue that came in. For example, we weren't charging what the contract requires.
Which one?
There were some of them
That's-
different amounts. Those community centers should be $500 with $250 refunds for.
Depends on the size.
No, well, that's the normal one. Those were the $500 fits those particular community centers. And they just didn't match. Something's wrong.
let's see.
There was one for $50, one for $71. I can't recall
I
them
can't
all.
get a note, I'm sorry.
So I don't know why if we issued contract, we had big discussions, from this board in reference to those charging to the community centers. It was agreed to that there would be a $500 fee, $250 of that, of course, is a deposit. And that $250 deposit can be returned. So at the minimum, when those community centers are rented, you should be getting $250.
Depends on the.
And
It depends on.
no,
the
that contract doesn't depend on nothing. It specifically says that.
The rental prices do depend on the size. Extra large, large, medium, small.
What I'm saying, Beverly, that I take that in consideration. All the ones that I'm discussing, the ones that were issued were not super large, the large ones. those contracts need to be reviewed and see why we're not getting the total cost for that rental.
There's only.
Every one of those contracts calls for a $500 fee. And it's rented from 7 o'clock AM to,
What's the one large one?
There's only one large.
there's only one large, and that's not part of it.
And there's
That's not what
medium.
I'm discussing.
So all these are
The
mediums?
medium
Medium.
facilities are 250.
Not 500.
That's right.
The medium facilities are 250.
Well, I move that we table this until we,
I'd like an explanation as to
And
why
their
we're not
deposits.
getting the fees
And
that
their-
we're
I
supposed
see
to
what you're
get.
saying, Mr. Letters.
And their
Look
deposits.
on page
Deposit
8
and
of the good
250
deeds, it
for
says
rent.
500, but the money taken in was way less.
Yeah, the money taken in is not 500. A couple of them were, but there's several of them that the money was not enough.
Should
according to the
be.
contract.
Mediums 250 and 250.
Jennifer, can you look?
I will look and see. I could say most of the deposits, you are correct. It's $250 for a 125 for a cleaning deposit, 125 for a facility
Which is
rental.
$250.
And most of them are medium.
And
Good
then
Deeds
$250
and
for the use of the
Isaiah
facility.
Fredericks are usually a $250 rental, but sometimes there are incidental fees in addition to that. Like if they,
I
something
got
is
you.
damaged or what have you,
There's
so
a certain incidental fees, but that would be more than the $500.
it will,
These
but.
are a lot less.
It will. I'll have to look at them, but usually the person will pay the deposit and then they'll come back at a later date and pay the rental fee.
Yeah, they have to 2 weeks prior to the event.
To the
The
event.
point that I'm trying to make, Jennifer, on several of those contracts, the revenue indicated from the information I have did not meet the amount specified by the contract.
For the deposit.
I will look into
Yeah,
that.
whether it's deposit or whether it's the actual cost of fee. That's almost a giveaway, $250 for those facilities, and we're not even getting that on some of them.
We should.
The
Well, I
deposit.
move that we hold the payment, or hold.
I'd like an explanation for, I can vote
Until
for it,
Monday.
I cannot vote for that.
You want a second for that?
Second.
You're spreading the contracts.
Yeah, but we're gonna wait till Monday and Jennifer's coming.
I'm not gonna spread it on the minutes unless the contracts are correct. I'm not gonna vote to spread it on the minutes unless the contracts are correct.
So that'd be number 16.
Yeah, trucks. I'll see which one.
And that doesn't, and if I'm not mistaken, why just those few?
They're
Because
all,
I know we
just.
for example, West Harrison County is not included on this.
Because, I sent an email out, her legal said that we're spreading all of the.
Good.
And Selena was out the day that I sent them out, so she probably hasn't had a chance to send hers
Okay,
yet.
good. We'll
She's
get those.
probably sending hers
Get
at
on.
the next meeting.
Well, I understand, I just wanted, why just those few?
Yeah, that's all. Everybody had sent theirs
That's
except
the
for
official
District 3. Because she was out. And it was
Social
for
media.
October, what they had done for
We
October.
either charge the 250 or we don't get confused, the $500, they submit the $500, they can get $250 refund because of the,
They're cleaning it.
but every contract that I'm aware of that comes out of District 3 over there, West Harrison, is $500. Nothing less, nothing more, unless this board waives that fee.
I think we like the fees, we just gotta make sure that the
They
money's
collect it.
collected.
If you open this one, for instance, it's attached, Good Deeds and Isaiah Fredericks. It says on line 8, the lessor shall pay $500. But when you go down, it only shows that 125 was
what I'm
taken
talking
in,
about.
and then another 125. I don't know about this, I'm just kind of reiterating what you're
That's what I
saying,
saw.
just by looking at it briefly.
Those things.
So there's one example,
There's others too.
and there's others.
So it'll be 250.
There's others.
There should have
And
said
then,
not
and then
pay 500.
250 for your, it's 250 for your deposit and,
250 for rent.
yeah,
They would have paid the
total.
rent.
But they may not have paid their 250 for the rental, because they have
Till
until the
later.
event, 2 weeks before the event.
But it says deposit.
This one says payment of
That, facility should not be used unless that $500 is paid for with that credit card.
That's correct. When you book it, you only have to pay at that time is the deposit to clean it. You only have to pay the $250 at that time
But
to book it.
some number of days before you use it, that 500, and
Correct.
that should be reflected in that contract, and what's submitted to us is spread on the minutes.
Right, but these
Don't spread it on the
events-
minutes unless the whole
These
amount is
events may
collected.
be later on, these
Yeah.
events may happen
The
6
events-
months down the road.
Yeah, the events are gonna happen, and then you're gonna spread it on the minutes. Yeah,
Any
but
further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
The rest of them I approve, there's no problem.
Item 19, order approving reimbursement for the tax assessor's office as listed. Motion.
Which one?
19.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
What is this? Mr. Holland?
It's 19?
190.72? Was that,
That's for, that's reimbursement.
okay.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion
Well,
carries.
19 I presented.
Yes.
Yeah, but
20, order approving in-county travel reimbursement for the tax assessor's office as listed.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
see, you
21.
got mileage on that one, but under Mr. Roberts, it doesn't say mileage.
His wasn't mileage, his was, paying for that education, continuing education class.
21, order acknowledging receipt of and approving petitions for decreases to the 2021 real and personal property road as recommended by the tax assessor.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 22, order acknowledging receipt of and approving petitions for decreases to the 2022 real and personal property roads as recommended by the tax assessor.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 23, order acknowledging receipt of and approving petitions for increases to the 2022 real property roll as recommended by the tax assessor.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 24, order approving a low quote of $37,997 plus shipping from Bank Tech South for one each telecash recycler, TCR machine for the use of the tax collector's office in the First Judicial District Courthouse to be paid out of the account 001-104-922, using funds from the interface fees and within budget.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Okay.
Tim, was it okay to speak about that?
Sure.
Okay. Were we done with that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Mississippi Power gave us their state assessed values, and when they gave us their state assessed values, the overall totals were about the same, but when you break it down, they were way off. They said they bought a computer system, they had a glitch in that computer system, they gave Gulfport way too much and Biloxi way too little, so one's gonna have a shortfall, which is really bad. So we've been trying to work on it with Peter Abide, Jennifer Bell, me, Scott Delano, John's helped a little bit. So between all of us, we're trying to figure out who can make that correction. The Department of Revenue agrees that it needs to be corrected, but they also don't want to make the correction. So I'm kind of stuck right now, and I can't make the correction either. So what we're trying to...
Power can't correct it, it was their mistake.
They did correct it, they gave me the correct numbers, I'm holding them, I have them, but the state Department of Revenue refuses to fix it, and it needs to be corrected on their end.
This is, can I say, this is different than a normal assessment, which is done by the county and then goes to the tax collector for collection. It's the assessment comes from the utility company to the Department of Revenue. So what happened was, Mississippi Power admits it made a mistake. The mistake is not in the overall assessment, it's in the breakdown by city. So Gulfport got 1.7 million more, and the school district got 1.7 million more, and Biloxi got shorted 1.7 million, basically. And the other communities too. They asked the DOR to correct it, and they say it's too late, they can't correct it.
We need to go to the governor.
Well,
That's your point.
So we did. So now we heard their meeting today.
Right, so the question came up is who has authority to correct it?
The
Tax collector does not, but Peter has worked out pretty much an agreement, an MOU, where all the parties involved, all the city, municipality, county, tax collector, tax assessor would agree to make the adjustment as a practical matter.
But can we do that if DOR is not willing to adjust it? How are we going?
Peter and I've looked at it, in my view, there's no reason, if all the parties agree, that they could not make the
But
correction.
didn't they tell you they didn't want to do it? You do it.
The Department of Revenue
Yeah.
said that they would not tell me that I could do it. They said, we're not gonna tell you can or can't do it, but that don't mean we can't come back, audit you, and get on to you for it 6 years from now.
Well, and our position was, I mean, Mississippi Power admits, I mean, that if you looking at what happened here, a year ago, Biloxi's assessment overall was 35 million. Gulfport's was 19 million. And these are, the only mistake is in the transmission lines. So what they first submitted, Biloxi went from 35 million to 11 million, all in the transmission lines. Now, we know that those transmission lines did not
You
move.
didn't take them down and move
They did
them.
not move them. And
Or
we
decrease in
didn't,
value by 20 million in 1
and we
year.
didn't get annexed by Gulfport either. So-
They're working on it.
But looking at
You better
Gulfport.
watch it, they're gonna get you, man.
Yeah, the Gulfport went up from 19 to
Gulfport School
35.
District went from 19 million to 35 million. They've come in and submitted to the DOR saying, and explained, we made a mistake, they've submitted corrected numbers, which basically reflect what happened last year. And DOR, there are statutes on the books that say they have the right to correct a false statement. There's statements that say if somebody is not getting the right amount, they have the right to go collect it.
But they
There's
won't.
things that say
They won't
that
do it.
the districts, it needs to be assessed equally. But they just don't want to do anything.
They won't do it. We
But
won't do
then,
this.
I think, Tim, like you said, do what you do, get your MOU going, get together, everybody do it, and everybody's satisfied, and then we'll go from there. When DOR starts complaining about it, then we'll deal with them.
Somebody would have to come in and complain and say, you should have
That's
used
right.
fraudulent numbers.
Yeah.
And if anybody came after any of us, we would just turn around and sue Mississippi Power.
Yeah, all parties, but even Mississippi Power Company's not in disagreement with
No,
it.
they're not.
Because the total- So all parties would be in agreement.
They've already signed the MOU. Biloxi has passed the MOU, past meeting. Gulfport School District has it on for this week's agenda. So it is a major concern when you get that sort of a stonewall from the state.
Yeah.
And I appreciate John and Tim and Sharon and Jennifer of just keep trying. What can we do? What can we do? And they just go, well, we're not gonna tell you.
Let me ask you this, Pete, since Gulfport seems to be getting the benefit of this era, they're not gonna object to it either, I presume.
No, they said-
Fair is fair.
They want it corrected as well.
They want to correct it.
They
They
do, they
want to
sent me
correct
email.
it too, because they, yeah, so you're not gonna have somebody in there saying, we don't wanna do it.
No.
So our position, we get everybody to correct it. We're asking that, the board
I
correct
think
it.
the question
And we
is,
just-
they want the board, and I ain't got a problem with it, because I think it's of no harm.
Yeah.
In fact, it's the right thing to do.
Yes.
So sometimes the right thing to do is what you gotta do.
You gotta do
So
it.
they want the board to agree to the MOU, although the board doesn't really have jurisdiction over it, but we would be helping Sharon by protecting, or at least.
We agree to the process of
Well,
correcting.
the board does have an interlocal with the city saying
Right.
you'll collect our taxes correctly. And the way the statutes are drawn up, they don't want the city talking to DOR at all. They say that it all goes through the county.
Uh-huh.
So if we run into a total brick wall, or somebody gets cute and doesn't want to sign off on it, we're gonna go to court and get a judge to.
order this, and we'd like the county's assistance, at least to join in with us on that.
Now, we did send off for an opinion, though. Do we need to wait on that still?
Yeah, we're gonna wait on the Attorney General opinion.
But look, we got, speaking with the, I used to be on the board of the Hotel Association, we went through all this, and we got the opinion, and the DOR still would do nothing, absolutely.
Oh, okay, all right.
So you be prepared to go.
Okay.
Mr. President, my role in this was obviously to reach out along with Jennifer and I, to reach out to the state auditor, Tom Chain, deputy auditor, not deputy, but with the auditor's office. He reached out to the Department of Revenue and notified me they have no authority to change. But my question is, with the authority to collect on this is through the Department of Revenue, not the county, am I correct?
No, the Department of Revenue does not receive any money of this.
I'm saying approving the assessments.
Oh, yes.
Because the county does, obviously, we submitted it with the roll, am I correct?
The state gives us the state assessed values, which are approved by them, and then they give it to us to
Gives
put
you
it on
the authority
Delta.
after they approve it. So my point is, I'm just giving you a report. I think the MOU may fly. But he told me to have to file legislation this session and get it passed immediately, and it'll be fixed.
So that was his opinion, and nobody asked him about.
But it's not in writing.
What about the
They don't-
judges? He won't put
They don't
anything
give
in
me
writing.
anything in writing.
No,
It's
they-
always verbal.
Exactly.
Because they're afraid they're gonna be wrong.
No, it gets down to really the issue is
Record
that
it.
the time for protesting the assessment has passed. That's their position, basically.
Oh, okay.
And
Right.
so they're saying once the time for assessment, you can't fix it. Well, the
Exactly.
only problem with that is the assessment is required to be filed under oath, and it wasn't filed under oath, so no assessment has been filed under oath. So Peter and I have looked at it, I disagree with them, I think they could fix it, but they're hard-headed, they won't.
See, there's other discrepancies besides the city. For instance, Harrison County School District went from 99.7 to 94.7.
Yeah.
See the one with GO. Then Harrison County School District with K, no wait, I'm sorry, with O, went from 2.5 to now 10.9 value.
Some of that is Wool Market, which is in Harrison County Schools, so it
So
is.
that's changed. Is that correct? It went up, the assessed value, $8 million in 1 year?
No, nobody.
Well-
See, on O, Harrison County School District, outside core
I'm
limits.
gonna show you this if it helps.
See this
Denise,
one I
I'll show
mean?
you that.
See what I mean? 2.5 to
Oh, yeah.
2.9? That can't
Okay,
be
you have
right.
what I have, okay.
Yeah, that can't be right.
The
Why would it go up 8
overall-
million in 1 year?
The overall assessment for the county is correct. The glitch made it affect the various taxing districts, with the greatest significancies being Biloxi
city.
and Gulfport. But
So
it
they-
did affect Harrison County School District as well.
I mean, we went up 8 million
The
value in just
numbers
one
are there,
category?
it's just in the wrong category, it needs to be moved up somewhere else.
Gotcha.
Wrong tax.
So it's riddled with
So,
mistakes.
yeah.
We look at 1 and 3, 3 are the new numbers, and they basically track everything that was in 1. 1 was last year, 3 is the correct number.
Right.
And they go up, you know, they're within a few $100s, a few $1,000s.
But Tim,
Okay.
what y'all saying,
Thank you.
Pete, what you're saying is that if you get your MOU done and everybody, all parties agree and get it adjusted, what's equitable where it should be, that you can't resubmit that to DOU? I mean DOR.
DOU.
DOU.
DUI?
Mr.
DOR, the timeline passed that you can't do, Department of
Well, I think
Revenue.
the problem is DOR.
You got you confused.
DOR does not want to open up a can of worms, because this is not the only county where
Yeah,
it's occurred.
Oh.
22 counties
other
total.
So
Oh, really?
they're trying not to open up a can of worms for themselves that they screwed up, I guess, I mean.
Well, no, they didn't.
No, it's missing.
No, they
Oh.
Well, they're screwed
And they
up by
admitted.
approving it, but they're not checking the assessment, because they get the assessment from the utility company.
But I can't understand why if we don't, if we correct
They're
it,
supposed to
if
check.
everybody, all parties agree and it's corrected, why it cannot be submitted back to DOR for approval? Now, listen, there was an error.
Just like you
What?
can't make a change to your role.
Yeah, can't make a change with roll.
You can't, you know, in other words, the assessor can't make changes. The board can if there's evidence.
Within a time frame.
Within a
that's correct.
time frame, but it's too
So
late now, the time
it's
has
something they're
passed.
relying on, obviously following the statute to keep them from being in this big mess, right?
Yes.
So that's why they're recommending legislation. And I tell you, I think the coast, if this doesn't work, the coast delegation get together and get it passed and then effective
Get it
upon
changed.
passage.
She's got to send tax bills out in December.
Yeah, December the
We can't wait
1st,
till
I have to, I didn't create the bills yet, I didn't even input them yet, so
I
I'm
agree
getting
with
wrong.
you. We're gonna have an injunction for them, but we think everybody's gonna sign the MOU, it should be an issue.
I just think if everybody agrees and signs off on the MOU, that there's no harm, no foul, and
Yeah.
how is DOR gonna complain about it?
And then we just send it to DOR again.
Even if they
have a
audit
problem with it,
later
we have to-
You don't have to go to DR, she just needs to be told when it's
No,
time for her
I
to
don't
do
go
the
back to them
billing.
at all.
she
I don't
uses-
need to.
She uses correct numbers instead of fake numbers,
Perfect, yeah.
and that's really all that needs to be done.
Right.
And if somebody wants to go to court and say, you should have used fake numbers, you know,
That's
I
gonna be
can
a-
handle that.
That's gonna be a hard case to.
They'll look kinda silly to me.
So I'll make a motion that we sign the MOUs to correct the Mississippi Power glitch. Is that how we need to word it?
You wanna do that today or wait?
Good, what?
It would help, I mean, the more people that are on it, the better. I mean,
I just do an order authorizing the board president to enter into the MOU with the cities, municipalities to correct the error in the assessment by the Mississippi Power Department, Power Company.
Okay. Perfect, we're still waiting on the Attorney General or no?
well, if we get everybody before then,
Okay.
we can
You got a
later
time crunch
decide.
problems.
I know, we're at a time crunch. I didn't create them yet. I'm doing real estate right now, so I waited to the end to see what y'all wanted to do.
Yeah.
Just one quick, so I'm not to put out there, what authority does she have, does the tax collector have, without the authority of the Department of Revenue to collect the change?
Being done by agreement of the parties that are affected by the assessment.
I'm not against it, I'm just saying, what authority does the tax collector have if she relies on the Department of Revenue to approve this, and they're not approving it, for her to collect it?
She does not
The
have.
change,
that- She does not have that authority. The parties,
Board is authorized.
well, the board is joining in on it, but ultimately what we're proposing is the parties are agreeing to accept the funds and be billed for the correct amount instead of the.
I don't think that could direct an elected official to change.
I don't think it does.
Okay.
The elected official would have to agree to do it. I mean, is there a chance the DRR would come back and say, yeah, you didn't have authority to do this? What are they gonna do? Say you gotta pay the money back?
There's no money to be paid back.
I understand.
It's all the same
I mean,
amount.
there's no loss. You
If
gotta.
the effect is the total amount is
I'm just
correct.
throwing this out.
I
If
agree
the
with
total
you.
amount's correct, the parties that are involved is agreeing to change within that total amount. So the state, the total amount is not changing.
Yeah, let me give a simple example. You got two homeowners, their tax bills gets messed up. They're right next door to each other, their tax bills gets mixed up. The neighbor pays this tax, the other neighbor pays the other guy's taxes. They come along, the tax says, well, the time's running, I can't change the assessment. So these two neighbors say, okay, well, why don't we just write each other a check? We'll be even. That's all you're doing.
Yeah.
That's basically what you're doing. And I don't
Like
see
Yeah.
anything that's a problem with that.
Yeah.
That's really what you're doing, and we're sanctioning it. The only thing that's different here is she's sending out a tax bill. It's
Yeah,
gonna
like, we're just running out of time. They're not
Right.
helping us at all. So today, they're supposed to meet with the governor today again. They talked about it this weekend. They talked about it Friday. They're supposed to meet again today. And we're supposed to hear something maybe today. Where they're trying to get the Department of Revenue to correct it. But if they don't,
What else can we do?
That's it. I don't think
What
you
else?
can-
If we're not.
You can file a declaratory judgment, get a judge to say do it, but that takes time, that's the problem.
Nobody is disputing it. Mississippi Power's not gonna pay a penny more. Well, they would pay a penny more under the old numbers, because
Yeah.
Gulfport's millage is higher than Biloxi's.
that's right.
Yeah.
So they have I don't think they had thought of that. That was brought to my attention this weekend. They might be paying another 400,000 under these original numbers.
Yeah, because
Did
Their millage rate's a lot more
agree to the
than us.
indemnification provision too?
They've agreed that if anybody can sue anybody later if they need to. Which we will do. If anybody wants to complain about any of this, auditor wise, we're gonna say, well,
Only one
Mississippi
that could
Power
possibly
bringing you
complain
in.
is DOR, and they're the ones that, they didn't screw up, but somebody's supposed to check it. It should have been, before that time frame ran, somebody should have checked it.
They should have checked it instead of just accepting it, and then it comes to the county, and nobody is really looking at the numbers. We didn't get the numbers till
Yeah, so we're.
late September, after everybody had passed their budget.
Right.
And none of these cities budgeted for this windfall either, so nobody nobody is harmed.
Budget was based on basically.
They based it
last
on the
year.
real numbers.
So if we use the real numbers, everybody's good.
Yeah,
So we have a motion and a second, I believe, right, Brittany?
right.
Yes. Okay. Thank y'all.
Thank you very much.
Vote on it.
There's no further discussion, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 25, order approving the following final pay application for $10,000 to Gulf South Roofing LLC for the Lorraine Road Work Center metal roof replacement held from 0/1/121-902, and acknowledge receipt of the following closeout documents between Harrison County Board of Supervisors and Gulf South Roofing LLC as recommended by Jacqueline Turner.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order awarding the bid for the metal roof and siding replacement. Harrison County Fire Service to Mandela's Roofing Inc. for the base bid amount of $336,456 based on the lowest and best bid total, and authorizing the board president to execute the same contract. Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving the subdivision application for Virginia Ridge subdivision, 43 lots located in Section 6, Township 7 South, Range 11 West, Supervisor Board District 2, First Judicial District, is recommended by Jacqueline Turner. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. 28, order approving the final pay for Magnolia Springs subdivision, Phase 6, located in Section 13, Township 7 South, Range 12 West, Supervisor Board District 3, First Judicial District.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 29, order approving the travel from Angel Harper, Michelle, EMA, to attend the 2022 NYPI Mississippi Instructor Certification Training Workshop to be held on December 6th to 8th, 2022 in Starkville, Mississippi. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order adjudicating board president, signature of the Mississippi Department of Insurance, County Fire Investigators Forum designating Pat Sullivan as the county fire investigator.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving payment of $3,150.81 to Harrison County School District for fiscal year 2022-23 rental payment on Section 16 section land leased by Harrison County. Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order approving travel for Fire Chief Pat Sullivan to attend the 2022 Midwinter Fire Conference, Chiefs Conference, here December 6th to 8th, 2022 in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order approving travel and encounter vehicle for Alan Sinkisher, Fire Service to attend the ADSAR training to be held December 5 through 8, 2022 in Meridian.
Motion.
Second.
Anybody
Discussion.
gonna be here to fight fires? They ain't all gonna.
That'd be fun.
And second.
Second.
All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. 34, order authorizing the purchase of Crossfire deck gun monitor nozzle package in amount of $4,999 from Sunbelt Fire, and authorizing budget amendment to 106-259-21 payable from state rebate funds.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order authorizing low quote purchase of 2022 Forest River Vineyards 26 volts KS toy hauler travel trailer in the amount of $40,000 from County Line Campers, paid from EMSOF, and authorizing line item transfer from 122-265-921, 122-265-918.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
Travel trailers. That's trailer.
All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving transfer in the amount of $200 from line item 030-193-476 to 191921 for the purpose of purchasing a dash cam from the FIP transport van. Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order adjudicating travel to Scott Weatherly, youth court prosecutor, for the attendance at the Fall Prosecutors Conference held October 26 through 28, 2022 in Oxford, Mississippi, no cost to the county. Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order accepting the highest and best bid received from Daniels Roofing at a cost of $31,835 for new decking construction for the Visitation and Resourceful Center on Maple Drive. Motion.
Somebody make a motion, I'll second for
I'll
discussion.
motion it for
Yeah,
discussion.
Second
discussion.
discussion, I've never seen except the highest and best bid before in my life.
No, me either, and why would?
So why would we be accepting the highest bid?
Highest and best bid.
I don't think so, Tim. I don't think that's so, because I think the bid, one was roughly 30,000 and something, and the other one was, the lowest one was 29,000 and something. And we're accepting the $30,000 bid, or at least that's what's being proposed.
Pardon, Jim, is that a typo?
Should be the lowest and best bid.
That's not the lowest and best bid though, based
I
on
understand that you can
It'll be
have,
the best, but not the lowest.
I understand, but
what Tim said.
the law is lowest and best. so
Right.
This is
It
the
may not be
highest.
the lowest, but it's the best.
Right,
This
but that's
says
not what
highest.
this
This
is.
is
I
highest.
understand that, I didn't see that until now.
Can you explain that?
Yes, sir. The two companies, the first company I reached out to was recommended by Buildings and Grounds, and they only gave me one company that they could suggest and recommend a good quote from, so I did that, and it's actually the company that did the fencing at the same location. So they installed the wooden fence and the ornamental fence, and so it's a company we've worked with before. I had to reach out and find a different company, Daniels Roofing, just on my own, and that is the highest bidder. But after working with both of these companies for the past 3 to 4 weeks, there are many reasons that I would like to choose the highest bidder, and it's their communication and easily accessible. I've asked for, when I compare the two bids, theirs was way more descriptive. You can tell what services you're getting specifically from them, what they'll be doing. I asked for the first lowest bidder to provide those, but they did not provide those to date. When I met with the highest bidder, they brought up a lot of things for child safety, ADA, and everything. Like, they were way more attentive to details versus the first company. And so with the first company's lowest bid, it just says some of the lumber that they're gonna purchase. It doesn't really go into detail of what exactly they're gonna do.
But by law.
So just the professionalism, the communication, the detail, those are reasons that I would wanna go with the highest.
Are these actually bids or quotes?
Quotes.
Through the competitive bid form that the county
So I
requires.
move that we just strike this, because I don't think this is worded right.
Second. I'd like to, in discussion, to say a few more things. When, that was the Casa trailer, for those of you who don't know, it's on Maples behind Pass Road Elementary. It's that yellow, we call it the yellow trailer. It was Casa's for many years. When I was executive board member, I think vice president that year, we already put a deck. It is ADA accessible, and I know it needs repair, believe me, I totally agree with you, Val. But we went out and got the CBs to do it. We saved tax dollars, thousands of dollars, 8 years ago. It's not necessary, in my humble opinion. And secondly, if you want to spend this $32,000 coming from your $900,000 grant, if that will pay for it, that's fine. But for public money, again, we've already done fencing, parking that I don't believe you needed there. Thousands and thousands of public money that is not necessary, in my opinion. You can all go out and look. It is ADA accessible, it does need some repair, but I could call the CVs right now and get them to do it. We do not need to keep bleeding money for this small place. That's my opinion. And so I say absolutely not.
If you have a contact for the super, I would love to reach out.
That'd be great.
I don't know how
Yeah.
to access all of those.
That's fine, but
Connections.
you know we've got ramps. You know
Yeah,
we've got it.
It was more to the railing, because there's like 1 2x4 that goes to the current railing. Kids can easily crawl off the ramp where those railings are, and so there's just.
They do need to be repaired, but completely ripped out and completely redone with public money yet again is.
And they do, both companies did say that they would keep what they could that's existing, like proposed to
My
the ground, they
issue
would
is
keep.
wouldn't be
something
32,000.
is this is not worded correctly, and I
That's
can
correct.
support it. Because
She's
it's-
right.
I don't feel right accepting the highest bid. If it's at lowest and best, and it's not a bid, it's a quote, there's a bunch of errors here, in my opinion.
Because the way that's submitted, I can't in good conscience go with that.
I'm sorry, but I think it's just worded wrong.
So I'll make a substitute motion to deny.
I already did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Substitute? Okay.
Rebecca seconded.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
She needs some direction.
Right.
We'll do that on the next one.
Well, I think she just got the direction from Rebecca.
Yeah, I'll give you the CV number, sweetie, if you want to see if they can repair it, that would be great.
If we do that, we don't have to reach out to anybody else if they
I don't
volunteer. What's
believe
the requirement?
so.
What's the
Tim?
requirement?
Yeah, you should ask the board. The board should give permission to contact.
Well, I'll
the
amend
city.
my motion to include having Valerie contact the CBs
See if they can do
to make necessary.
And then bring that back to the board.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you.
You
When
wanna
you put these on the
amend your
agenda,
second?
the term is always lowest and best. They may not be the lowest bid, but they're the best.
I understand.
So you still use the language lowest and best, not highest and best.
That's why it says.
I know that probably didn't make sense when you were doing that.
At home, the one with the highest,
Yeah.
the best.
Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Order authorizing advertisement for request for proposal for countywide aerial and oblique imagery and services for GIS department.
Motion.
Second, what is that?
Matt, how long will that, is that you, Matt?
No,
Matt?
that's me,
Is that y'all?
That's me.
Matt? How long are we talking about getting this done?
If I can get it in time, it'll be flying this winter and spring.
What are you talking about, years?
It'll be for next year. They have they should have a pretty quick turnaround, so we should be able to use it. Pretty
When was the
soon.
last one, do you recall?
2020.
2020.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Beverly wanted to know what that was.
Well, she said it was a mapping that shows the ground.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order approving transferring the amount of $479 from 001-522-641 to 001-522-921 for the purpose of purchasing Craftsman push lawnmower for fairgrounds. Motion,
Motion.
Second.
discussion.
Yeah, what, how come you don't want to use the big mower?
It's just, it's some of the areas around the, I guess,
That's all
the
the more
trees
reason I
and
wouldn't
the
want to
little
push mower.
dog park.
You're gonna be a little low to the ground, if you know what I'm saying.
I guess they have, oh, it's probably
Where'd Greg go?
the
Did
obstacle.
he ask for this?
The obstacle area and stuff,
Oh, okay.
you know, around those.
Is that the small areas of the dog park?
I know, but I'm thinking, I might be on the up riding lawnmower.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order approving out-of-state travel that's listed.
Motion.
Second,
Second.
discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Next is have zoning.
I would like to,
Then you want to vote 46.
yeah, for number 46. I'm sorry, I'm ahead of myself. Number 46 is the one I'd like to have
Discuss.
discussed.
Consider it separately.
Yes, sir.
All right, so items 42 through 45, and then item 47 are the regular cases before the planning commission. We would like you to concur with the planning commission's recommendations.
Motion to concur.
Second.
Discussion, any further discussion? All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Now we go to 46. 46 is order concurring with the planning commission decision to approve case file 221-0HC173 for a zoning map amendment and conditional use permit filed by Frank Willem Block Building LLC for the People's Bank requesting approval to change the zoning district's classification of a 31.1 acre parcel of land. The property is currently located as an R1 low density residential A1 general agricultural district. The request is to be changed to the zoning district classification for lots A, B, and D to the C2 general commercial and lot C to the 1-1 light industrial district for the purpose of subdividing property to allow for manufacturing and retail sales of container-based modular homes as shown on the site plan. Manufacturing incidental to the retail business in the C2 district requires a conditional use permit from the planning commission.
I'd like to make a motion to table this. My husband's been in the hospital and haven't had an opportunity to review it like I would like, and it's a brand new building, and brand new operation.
Okay. Got a second, any further discussion? Or any discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving papers of claim list paid from the tort account.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Consider waiving insurance waiting period for Judy Lee, Human Resource Director.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order spread upon the minutes of personnel change of the sheriff's office.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order concurring with the county administrator on the employment as listed and on file with the payroll clerk. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order concurring with the role manager on employment as listed and on file with the payroll clerk and the personnel and human resource department.
Motion. Second.
Discussion.
Didn't he get bids on this? He just couldn't get it. Couldn't get the trucks. I guess starting over.
What is that?
The facilities and maintenance. I think he tried this before.
Bids are too high.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Order authorizing advertisement for bids on new bucket truck for facilities and maintenance department.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving travel for Judy Williams, purchase clerk, to attend the 2022 certification program seminar for purchase clerks in Jackson, Mississippi.
Motion. Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order designating any board supervisor, fire chief, assistant fire chief, county engineer, department representative, and purchase clerk, non-rating member to serve on the selection committee to review the request for qualification for recommendations to the board of supervisors of the award of the following. Motion. Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order authorizing advertising for bids for road department equipment is listed.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say
Yeah,
aye.
discussion. Tim, on that terminal, or you just, is that a truck itself or just the spray stuff?
It's the
And
truck.
truck itself with the
Truck
terminal?
with the,
I think in the long run, we're gonna be a lot better off with that.
You should see what they've been using. It's amazing. It still works, so great job on that.
Well, not only that, the paint itself will last a lot longer.
Right.
Yeah, see, the paint's just considered temporary.
Yeah.
The terminal lasts about 10 years, 60 years. Definitely done
Good.
Okay, any further discussion?
No.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 56. Yeah, order- No, 57. Order authorizing advertisement for RFPs for Harrison County Beautification Commission's 2023 event, 2023 Bring It event, with the date of Saturday, April 22nd, 2023.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Recognize the sheriff.
On B.
Yeah. We have a total of 758, 35 misdemeanors, 116 females, 57 cleared state inmates, and 31 federal inmates.
Thank you. 59, order authorizing advertising for proposal for food services for the Harrison County Law Enforcement Training Academy.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order rescinding agenda item 64 for September 6, 2022 agenda. Same being an order approving the memorandum of understanding between the Harrison County School District and Harrison County Sheriff's Office to provide law enforcement services for 1 year.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving the memorandum of understanding between the Harrison County School District and Harrison County Sheriff's Office to provide law enforcement services for 1 year and spreading the same upon the minutes.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in
Right.
favor?
What was the difference? Why did
There's
you
some,
call?
there's something to do with the salaries.
The salaries.
The salaries, yes, sir. And then, once it gets that way, it's a long process. But they got it straightened out.
Good.
Yes, sir.
I don't think we voted. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving the local purchase secret code security for an 8-door access control system for the Harrison County Law Enforcement Training Academy in the amount of $16,405 payable from 001-200-902 and authorizing the county administrator to transfer the funds to 001-200-695.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Authorizing advertisement for proposal of a shallow water law enforcement vessel for the Marine Patrol Unit, Harrison County Sheriff's Office.
Motion.
Second. Discussion?
Is that boots? Give waiters.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Give waiters.
Give waiters.
Oh, give waiters.
Shallow water.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving the purchase of a Dodge Durango PPV from Kirk Auto World from state contract number 8200065475, item number 71054000274 for the Sheriff's Office at a cost of $40,958, payable from 001-200-915, and amending the Sheriff's budget to increase to $36,577.57. Motion.
Motion.
Second discussion. Is this worded correctly? I seem to be on the wording today, but, why don't we just transfer the proceeds from the insurance company to the sheriff? Why are we amending the budget? See what I'm saying? We got the insurance money for the same amount. Where's it at? Why wouldn't it?
You
why
still
would-
have to amend
You
the
still
budget.
gotta amend the budget.
You can't just say put it in.
You'd still have to amend the budget to put the insurance in there.
Right. Mr. President, I think the order should reflect what year this Dodge is. I'm trying to find that out.
Okay, do we know? What
On the
year?
line?
It says June 3rd, 2020. Oh,
It's
wait,
on
you-
state
you-
contract.
I know, but what is the year of the purchase of the vehicle?
The original one that the insurance paid out on?
No,
No,
the one we
no.
purchased
Oh,
on
it's
state
a
contract.
it's gotta be a 2023.
22, 23.
2023.
It's a new
I
contract,
think the order should reflect the purchase year, the year of the vehicle.
2023.
Okay, at the order effective
The
2023.
state contracts just came out, so it's gotta be 23.
Here, it probably,
Well,
it probably is.
The minutes reflect what they're purchasing.
Correct.
You just have to have a record of which, well, I'm just a little confused.
I actually agree with you.
This is a 2020 Dodge Durango.
Write that down.
That's the one that was
That's the
red.
one.
Oh, that's the one that was
Correct.
scratched. Okay.
Yeah, but they gotta buy a new one.
Gotcha.
2023,
Is that right?
Yes,
Sideways, I can't.
got that, Brett?
Back up,
got it.
to say that.
it says it's a 2022,
So you gotta look
23.
sideways like me with my neck's back.
I can just turn my computer, I guess.
Well, you can flip it up there.
It's on the
It's state
22,
contract.
23 state
You sure
contract.
can.
so.
I don't know.
So we're put everything
I'm
on.
sorry I'm making a big issue of it, but we'll need to indicate the year on the minutes.
So maybe.
What we're at.
So each one of those will have to be
Yeah,
put
the
that on there.
next few.
And then all the rest of them.
Yeah.
Anybody see the year yet?
I don't see it anywhere.
Those state
At the top of
contracts,
the
those
state contract,
contracts,
it
must
says
have to do
22,
with
23 state police
There's
vehicles.
Gotcha. Gotcha. It could be different.
I don't know if this is 2022 or 2022.
We'll just
If you
add
get that
the
cheap,
year.
it's probably 22.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking.
But that's an issue, but if we're not sure, why don't we just?
Ron, can you find
I
that
think-
for us?
Oh, yes.
Or just get it, or get
Just add the year, take it
That's
off.
what Rod said.
pending the year.
2023 is what he said. He
It's,
texted him.
it's, the listing is 22, 23.
It's
It's
gonna-
gonna be the 23.
It's gonna be 23s. They're ordering those, they're in production now. So,
I got you.
being that they're in production, they're production for 23s.
Okay.
They're building them.
And for the next two as well.
Correct.
Okay, is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 65, order approving the purchase of a Dodge Charger PVD all-wheel drive from the Pineville Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. State contract number 8200065474. Item number 071054006005 for the Sheriff's Office. Motion.
Motion for the 2023 purchase.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving the purchase of the Ram 15 SSV from Landers Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram for state contract. Items 8200065470. Item number 7180462546 for the Sheriff's Office. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Like all of them need that.
2023. I said it was
Okay.
All 2023s,
Yeah.
for now.
All in,
got that written. It's already in a row.
okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. 67, order authorizing the purchase of the Ram 1500 SSV from Landers Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. State contract 8200065470. Item number 7180462546 for the Sheriff's Office Marine Patrol Unit. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order declaring unit number 1104, asset number 21327-2011, Fort Crown, Victoria, as surplus, authorizing county to donate same to Harrison County School District pending receiving resolution from the Harrison County School District requesting same. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving the low-quote purchase from the Precise Digital for a camera system for the narcotics interview room in the amount of $7,724 and payable from 001-200-921, authorizing the county administrative transfer of funds from 001-200-695. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order adjudicating the board president's signature on the closeout documentation for occupant protection grant number OP 2022, OP 1241 for fiscal year 2022 from the Office of Highway Safety.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. The order spread upon the minutes FY21 HIDTA, a memorandum of agreement between the Mississippi Bureau of Narcotics and the Harrison County Sheriff's Office for two programs. TCNLIT best in the amount of $91,544. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving purchase of secret code security for the alarm system to Harrison County Law Enforcement Training Academy in the amount of $4,620 payable from 001-200-902 and authorizing county administrative transfer funds. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order adjudicating the electronic submission for fiscal year 2021 equitable sharing agreement and certification for the assets forfeiture program. Collection need to be based on the fiscal 21 agreement filed 21-2330. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
What are we fixing?
What was up? You had to sign the report.
All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Authorize the board president to execute fiscal year 2022 equitable sharing agreements and certification of the asset forfeiture program for fiscal year ending September 30, 2022. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving the sole source purchase for, good Lord,
Aardvark.
Hardball.
Aardvark for
Kinetic.
reaching to with accessories in the amount of 19,802 payable from 001-200-613. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Discussion.
Second discussion.
I got, what is a kinetic breaching tooth?
It's like
You have to open the
to open a car if you're stuck in it.
When
Like
it's
a-
an accident, it opens.
Like a jaws of life.
Like jaws of life?
But more new technology,
Yeah.
kinetic movement.
You need to look that up.
I know what the word kinetic means, and I know what an aardvark was. I just didn't know what to put them together.
If an aardvark is in a car accident,
An
no, I'm just
aardvark is
kidding.
an animal, and a kinetic is a motion.
The SWAT team requested those for primarily school entries
I got
and
you.
locked doors.
Yeah, I was just curious.
It's a new tool, Doc, it's pretty cool.
Can it be used in car accidents too? Is it that type of jaws of life type, or more breaching of a?
It's a breaching of doors and windows is basically.
Gotcha.
It's a little more sophisticated than sticking a piece of dynamite under it and opening it, huh?
Way out of my.
Can't use like a telephone call and get.
Battering ram in the old days.
Battery.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order approving the low quote purchase from Communication International for the removal and reinstallation of radio electrical equipment and dispatch in the amount of $43,921.11. Motion.
Motion.
Second discussion. All that's in coordination with the research that's going on for the replacement of the radios and all that, right?
No, sir. What we're doing is.
Huh?
No.
This is for updates in dispatch.
It's.
I understand it's an update on dispatch, but that will fit within the new
It will
radio
work in-
system, that you don't come back and say, now we got a new radio
Yeah,
system.
correct,
We
right.
need to do that.
No.
It's compliant with future
So y'all
systems.
coordinated.
Compliance with it, yes, thank you. So, yeah.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 7-7, order approving the renewal of the aircraft drone policy for Global Aerospace, Inc. for policy term for December 31, 2021 to December 31, 2022.
Motion.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving mileage reimbursement for in-county travel for the following employees. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order acknowledge the receipt of the September 22 travel car payable in the amount of $122.13 from 001-26475. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order authorizing internet funds and repayments per the attached schedule. Motion. Second.
Is that for me?
That's in front more?
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. 8-1, order authorizing the payment in the amount of $625,422.51 to the city of Biloxi for the fourth quarter fiscal year 2022. Final payment of Biloxi Port Bonds from 078-100-701.
I'll keep that. No, just kidding.
That was the one I was asking the mayor this morning if he would let us keep it so we could help pay for that.
Put that
thing.
toward your 2 million.
But he didn't blink an eye, he said no.
He couldn't hear all of a sudden.
If you break it up.
Yeah, he said, I'm breaking up.
Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Y'all didn't do it.
We need a second.
Did anybody?
No,
I
second.
made the motion.
I
Second.
thought it was second discussion, okay. All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries.
Before we go too further, line, the policy period y'all just renewed is from December 31 of 21 to December 31 of 22. Is that a mistake?
No, 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 it just now got it.
Okay.
22, we found out of that.
Yeah,
Well, out of
they'll
22.
be coming up another one.
Little late.
They just sent it to
Just
us.
curious though.
Yeah.
They just sent it.
Order authorizing the reimbursement to the road fund 150,000,360 in the amount of $218.01 for trash pickup at facilities and maintenance payable from 001-158-581.
Motion.
Second discussion,
Yeah,
what
why
are
are we
those two?
doing
What are
this?
those two that normally it says one that, what are we, who are we charging for that?
You're
He's
charging,
saying the facilities and maintenance, but I didn't think we did that if it was another county department.
yeah, if any departments request the road department to do anything
Oh,
for them,
they
then
do.
they have to pay the
You
person.
can't use road funds for anything other than
Yeah.
roads.
But that's coming out of facilities and maintenance,
They're paying them.
they're paying reimbursing the road department. facilities.
They have a pile of trash.
I know you got
Oh,
to,
okay.
yeah.
Like, to take out their trash.
That's like debris, was it debris or something?
Facilities and maintenance, that's,
Willie.
That's Willie.
He was probably working on something, it was too much for their trucks to take away.
Okay.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving the payments of claim listed on the Chancellor Clerk.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving total payment of $5,600 payable from 001-457-751 to Ocean Behavioral Hospital, Biloxi.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed?
While we're on the subject of
Motion
motions,
carries.
their contract expires today. Do we want to renew it?
I think we do.
We're
Kinda
going to
have to.
authorize a renewal of contract with the current terms.
The only question I have now, apparently the 16 beds are available at CSU. I don't know how long that will
No,
last.
they got
but
COVID.
Once those beds become available, that should reduce the number of times that we have, that Oceans or Gulfport Behavioral comes involved with us.
Can I answer that?
Yes, sir. I'm asking.
If they don't refuse them.
Correct, which they are right now.
So they don't have the medical facilities. A lot of these people.
I don't mind renewing the contract. That's not an issue. I just want to make sure that,
Right. What
that we
we try
only
to
use it when
do,
needed.
we have contact with the state, so with CSU's statewide. So when we can't get our CSU, we reach out to them to see if we can put them somewhere else. They're indigent, we do our best before the county has to pay.
Good.
But the main thing is you do more than any county in the whole state to treat these sick individuals.
What were we doing with those people before we got the private
They'll
hospital?
go back to emergency rooms.
Hospital.
They go back to where they were placed, because you
Or
don't.
jail.
Or jail.
Am I talking?
Yeah,
Okay. I was just wondering.
I was asking this question.
I asked the
Okay.
man a question.
I can hear it, I can hear both sides. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, obviously, the holding side is what the big issue is, because you have to have them under a writ to hold them and then be assessed, evaluated. Then they have a hearing, then the responsibility, not only for the pre-hearing is on the county and the commitment, but on the pre-hearing, we don't put them in jail. And we send them to ERs if the CSU can't take them, and the ERs are not getting 1 cent from the county.
So we're sending them to the
Even though,
private hospital.
even though if they have insurance, because the hospitals do not have a code for holding. See what I'm saying? So they can't get reimbursed, and it's a big burden on these hospitals.
I just want to make sure that if the CSU beds are available now, 16 of them.
Yeah, good luck is what I'm saying.
I'm just saying that I don't want, just because we have that contract, them saying, well, we don't need to, we just.
Well, I mean, the other day, we were ready to place, all of a sudden they let us know by phone that somebody had
COVID.
So they couldn't take anybody from it. Then, you know, it's just,
That's still a reason not to take someone
I
to
thought
be
it- I thought
who's
it was-
mentally ill.
Yeah.
When we, no offense, but we've had many examples of families being murdered by someone who's been released from mentally ill,
that
from mental
person was released
institutions.
early too, by
I
the way.
thought as
I
long
know
as
they
they wore
were.
their mask.
One of
they
them
were
I
okay.
actually happened last year. I actually knew him through music, so
Yeah.
we've got to stop with this kicking him out because of something like a COVID positive.
Well, I don't know what to tell you, except that's leadership on that end. And it's different than the way we try to approach what our duty is, and we can't get it fulfilled. The clerk of the board is responsible, clerk of the court is responsible of finding a bed, and that's what the legislators put on the chancellor clerks, which is horrible. And Pine Belt will not take a role of mental health services for the court to place people, these patients, if they can't take them. We have to do it, which is hard.
They just tell you can't take, I can't take them.
No, they just say that's not our duty. We don't, that's
So
not
even if
part
they
of
have
our.
new symptoms, if they're COVID positive,
Well,
so
what
they're
I'm
still
saying-
testing everyone?
Well, what I'm saying is this, the clerk reaches out to Pine Belt and says, look, if you can't take them, can you help us? They will not do that. That should be included, I've told the board this before, this should be included in their services for the 2.1 million that how they address involuntary commitments. They do not address it. I'm sorry, I'm
With
done.
the board's permission, can I talk to them about that?
Yes, please.
Please.
In reference to the contract, it's renewed at the same.
It's not a contract.
No, no, I'm talking
With
about OSHA.
behavioral, but, the
I'm sorry.
hospital.
Sorry,
I got
I
off.
was talking.
Yeah. He understood my
What'd you say?
But
I'm done.
All right,
Steve,
two,
I like
I'm out.
You can call me, y'all.
the contract
Going in
is
the corner,
renewed at the
both of y'all.
Yes,
same
they're
price.
renewing the same contract.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good.
What'd you say?
So we need to vote on this first, and then I make a motion to renew.
Tim had to say something.
Well,
That's what he said.
There's a couple more.
Yeah.
Behavioral health, we probably go ahead and renew that one too, but I didn't see any.
Oh, yeah, they're getting them.
So I'll make a motion that we renew the two
In
contracts.
order, renewing both of those contracts.
Renewing both contracts based on the review from the board attorney.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
And that's for a year?
1 year.
1 year.
Okay. Is there any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 85, order authorizing issuance of duplicate warrants for $173 to Della M. Potts per certificate and affidavit filed with the Chancellor Clerk.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving expenditures as listed. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, Miss Janet, I got an email for, and I apologize, I don't have it with me, but it was for this same thing from one of your girls for $1,000?
Well,
Is this
part
in
of it is-
addition to, or?
Part of it is going to East Biloxi and part will go to Diablo.
But this, East Biloxi's asking for 400 and the Diablo for 600, so that's the
split.
1,000?
Yeah,
I
that's
gotcha.
split.
Thank you.
So
Sorry.
I was gonna bring this up at the end, but I didn't realize this was being requested. To ask for 4,000 or more dollars for something that we expect every year, it should have been in the budget for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But we're asking for 4,000 more public dollars when I was told no to a little microwave at Lyman. I was told no to a tiny little refrigerator to keep my employees' drinks. But I find out just recently that we spent almost $9,000 doing a beautiful gourmet kitchen in the new office of our senior center director. I have a car delivering meals to LaBouille that is broken down, that has put my ladies literally in danger. We've given them 3 cars that have all fallen apart. I have 0 cars that work right now. So we can spend almost
Because I've got,
Yeah, I talked about it, and I apologize, I didn't follow through, but
yeah, follow through on
when I
that.
asked Pam about it, she said that we had, this $8,600 extra in the budget for senior services. but we have a car that's falling apart, couldn't get a tiny refrigerator for my employees to put their food, couldn't get a tiny microwave for our employees to put the food. There's a very big disconnect here.
But let me ask
Why
you-
do we need a gourmet kitchen?
But let me ask you this, this says approving expenditures is listed, this is not asking for a budget amendment. So this is just approving you spending that money,
Just,
number 86.
I
So my
think-
motion was
No, she's
approving
asking.
expenditures as
It's the way
listed.
we've done it every year.
No.
yeah,
Good
every
talk.
No, I got
year,
an email that y'all wanted $800 extra from each of our escrows to pay for nicer Thanksgiving and Christmas. And then y'all emailed me back when I raised a stink about it. You had Veronica email me back saying, oh, never mind. And I said, ha, thanks. $4,000 more for something when you did a gourmet kitchen. You have an ice maker that makes 2,500
There's
pounds of
not a gourmet
ice.
kitchen in East Biloxi, nor is there one in Diablo.
No, I'm talking about in their
I think you're doing
office.
apples, yeah, but they're not gonna go there and eat.
That's
East
my
Biloxi
point. It
wants to
should
do
have
theirs,
never been approved.
And Diablo
We should
wants to
never
do
have
theirs.
spent
That was in
85.
the budget, was it not?
yes, it was.
Okay, so it was approved, but this is separate than that.
Yeah.
Now,
this
why
year-
can't we put this within the seniors' budget and you just automatically do it?
Well,
I mean, I'm cool.
That's
Is
what
there a
she's
legal
asking, I
reason
believe.
not to?
Where are these expenditures coming from?
Well, she's right there
Escrow.
coming out of
These escrows?
Escrow, yet again.
Why couldn't
So
we
you
just
see
do
what
this?
happens is you have one, LaBoie's not in here. LaBoie
That's
is
what
not
we
in
just
part
did
of
the
these
budget. I'm
things.
with that on it.
And I just brought that to Yolanda's attention. Bowie or Lyman,
Correct.
Right.
which that.
I'll pay for it myself, like
That-
out of my own
Well,
pocket.
and that's what I was asking, and that, I had handed it over, and I didn't know, I don't know how this
But
got
Janet, why
left
didn't you
out.
just add another, just pulling out the.
Are there no, is there no room in their budget right
That's
now
what
to
I'm
pay for
asking.
this? How much are we talking about total?
There's a little, this is about 3,600, so probably 5,000 will do it.
And it's
Is there-
excluding two of them.
I mean.
Well, but I didn't, we
It
didn't,
needs to
we turned,
include
I
the two.
turned it in, but I don't know how those two got left out.
But I go back to the waste of tax dollars. Why in the world do we need $8,500 kitchen in your office?
That's not-
Why would your employees need a 2,500-pound ice maker? We're not a catering company or a restaurant.
Well, we
I can't
don't,
Well, let
understand.
me ask you, hold up here, I don't wanna get clouded, but, so this comes to
It's the same thing.
4,300.
That's
No, this
43,
is-
and I don't know how much.
4,300, how much more do you need for
33,
the other two centers? Because we can't just add, feed them some and not all.
Depends on the number of clients.
What's your best guesstimate?
that, what do we need for?
The other
For
two
Bowie,
cents.
the other two.
Oh,
Number of
well,
clients. That's
$400 each would cover, I think.
43,
Oh,
so
well,
5,000.
probably-
Yeah, for each event,
LaBowie would
Thanksgiving.
be
and
about $200.
Oh, so
I'm
what
sorry.
are you saying?
About $200, that would
At
cover.
each event.
But for both Thanksgiving and Christmas would be,
That would be the 400
yes, sir,
apiece.
that would be.
Okay, so you need
And the
another
same thing with
$800.
Okay.
Another $800.
No, she's saying 400 both.
For yours,
one.
For-
and 800 for
Yes.
Lyman.
Right.
That would be for
For Christmas
Thanksgiving
and
and
Thanksgiving.
Christmas, yes, sir.
So
But
$5,100.
I'm asking Pam, is there any in the budget to cover these expenditures rather than going to
Escrow.
escrow?
I don't know what she has in her budget, I'd have to go back and look at her budget.
Well, let's
We can
approve the
look at her budget and
5,100
see.
It really
to come
needs,
out of the
Rebecca,
budget and put it in
Rebecca
your
does have a
budget.
point, especially for the ice maker and stuff like that, that's just an office. How many folks in your office, Ms. Janet?
How many, we have 12 plus for the ice machine. We also use it for RSVP, the senior companion, which take trips, and they use the ice.
Gotcha.
We had no ice at all in there.
Well, the Lyman ice machine has been there for 12 years, and we serve hundreds of people each week, clients, not just employees. So I would like to make a motion to give your new giant ice maker to a senior center that actually serves people, and give y'all the smaller ice maker into
Point
your
of order,
office.
there's a motion on the floor, you can't have two.
All right, well, I'll do it after. I just really am not, I want everyone to know
Well, and I
that that was
didn't,
wasted money, was not necessary. I had y'all a refrigerator in there, a microwave, a fine cabinet, new cabinets, new countertop.
We did the same thing in tax collector's office. What did she
Did the
do?
same thing for the,
Really, a
for building and-
2,500
building and
pound
grounds.
ice maker?
It was,
Same
well, she
thing for
don't
building and grounds
box
as
it up,
well.
but they got.
And I left that up to building
Oh,
and
no
grounds. I didn't order that. I asked him because I had no clue what to order. So I asked him to, purchase this.
But
Yeah,
right
but
now,
you were aware of it and you approved it.
but right now, my motion was to approve the expenditures instead of taking it from the
Instead of
escrow
taking it from
accounts to
extra.
take it from the budget.
We have to amend the budget though, to do that, won't we?
Well, she's gonna
Yeah,
look and see.
she's probably got her.
Are they-
Let's do this. It's very simple. If it's not in that budget, we'll
Then we'll
amend
do
the
it.
budget to
Yeah, we'll
include
look
that.
Okay,
at
I'll
it.
so move.
We'll look at it. Yes, sir.
Amended
So can you
it, as
please
Mr. Ladner
Can you
said.
please repeat this for me?
Oh, God, girl. Okay, I make a motion, we approve the expenditures as listed to come from senior
The budget.
resource budget. However, if the money's not in the budget, then we can amend the budget to include the $5,100.
Is it allowed? Not-
And add Lyman, please, to the list.
Yeah, that's
We'll
included.
add all of
Them
them.
And
and-
the-
All of it. Make
It's
sure
all.
all.
So 5,100, and if you need more, you'll have to tell us.
Okay. Okay, is there any further discussion on the amendment to the budget, to the,
I would just like to see that Thanksgiving and Christmas come every year, so let's plan
Yes, you'll
ahead.
Yeah, I
have to
agree.
include it for each time.
all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
Yeah, because they like that.
87, order accepting the resignation of Carolyn Weiner as the District 5 Commissioner for the Harrison County Beautification Committee.
Motion to deny.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just kidding.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Order approving payment of the amount of $9,500 to $95,000, take my glasses out, $95,000 to finance the county office of Mobile District with the Department of Army Corps of Engineers for the design cost of the coastwide beach and doing the ecosystem restoration payable from 332-362-555. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion.
Can we add an authorized interfund loan? Or we'll have to transfer money in to cover our match?
Well, what's this, 332-362?
That's a separate fund that we created to track those expenses
Okay,
because
so it's not funded, there's no money in it?
it's not funded yet.
Make a
I
motion.
think that's the county's match for the project.
It is, it is city and,
Pam, are we gonna pull that from 156?
Yeah,
Okay.
will you give Brittany the correct
Yes.
just an interfund transfer.
interfund transfer?
Okay, any further discussion?
From
All in-
156.
All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order 89, consider approving VPN remote access for civil court administrator Christy Kessler for the interim period while Highway 49 and Gulfport is under construction and other circumstances that require her to work from home as requested by Judge Bush. Virgil.
Yeah, that wrong
That's
court.
circuit court.
Judge Beach rolls.
How's this being paid for?
That's circuit court. so
This
we
is
gotta
just to
find-
allow her to work from home, correct?
Right.
Yeah, but the VPN is a service. You have to have access.
There's a cost to this, I presume.
There is circuit court has.
Do they have it in their
So,
budget?
charge it to circuit court?
Circuit court's budget has to pay for it.
On motion.
Okay, second.
Second.
Let me ask you, so if any employee wants to work from home, does it have to be approved by the board?
Mhm.
Every employee, regardless?
If they want the
I don't know what
VPN,
V- well, I
if
don't
they
know
want
what
a
does
VPN
that mean?
remote access, they have to have it.
Not, I don't think we should encourage it.
No.
No, but it has to be board approved, correct?
For remote access to county
Yes.
stuff, right? Is that what
But if
you
you
said?
work from
Yes.
home, you're gonna need remote access, I would think.
Yeah.
Unless you have a county phone and you work, do your emails on your phone.
Or, I mean,
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
But now the
All
Highway
opposed.
49, this is mute now because Highway 49 is
90, order adjudicating the board president's signature on the reimbursement estimate number 22 to MDOT for printing of active living initiative booklets, 80% to be reimbursed by MDOT. Motion.
Motion.
Second. Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order approving the waiver of rental fees for use of Daleville Civic Center on Omega Psi Phi fraternity to host its annual toy drive Christmas party on December 3rd, 2022.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order adjudicating and approving the use of Senior Center bus to transport wheelchair-bound veterans to and from their Freeman's Family Funeral Homes annual trip to the World War II Museum in New Orleans, Louisiana, November 2nd.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. 93, order approving assistance for the athletic facilities at West Harrison High School as per the terms of the interlocal governmental cooperation agreement between the Harrison County School District and the county.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion, what type of assistance?
That's for material on the softball field, ball field.
So it doesn't cost anything, they just,
No.
it doesn't have a price?
No, we'll pay, I'll pay for it.
Okay,
But yeah, it costs something.
right. Okay, thanks.
Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed.
Tim will pay for it.
Tim Smith.
Order approving the,
I mean,
No, I'm talking about Tim. Yeah, he wasn't paying attention.
I'll approve the use of baseball and soccer fields at the Will Market Sports Complex by Harrison County School District for 2022-2023 school year per the terms of the interlocal governmental cooperation agreement between
Where
the
are
Harrison,
you?
Number
94.
94 in the Harrison County School District and the county. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed, motion carries. 95, order approving the use of labor, equipment, and materials needed to remove hazardous trees from 16 section school trust lands located at the Wolf River Cemetery and Highway 53 next to the Blossom Gas Tank Storage and Fuel Station.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
For discussion, Tim, that's the way to go around, but it's getting that tree out of the cemetery.
yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, 16 section, it's on 16 section land.
Victory.
All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed.
Just don't drop it on the storage tank.
That motion
Yeah.
carries. 96, order adjudicating the employment of Tim C. Hallman and Boss Hallman and Associates to represent Harrison County and Illinois Hopkins Union and Hopkins Barbade and Hopkins PLLC to represent Harrison County Sheriff's Department in litigation matters.
Motion.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed. Motion carries. Order approving agreement for grant administrative services for the Harrison County FEMA SWIP program between Southern Mississippi Planning and Development District and Harrison County. Motion.
Motion.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order acknowledging receipt of and accepting a warranty deed with right of reversions from the city of Long Beach for real property located within Section 3, Township 8 South, Range 12 West, 1st District, Harrison County.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Order authorizing the board president to execute the request for payment for MDQ in the amount of $15,394 for solid waste assistance grant agreement number SW 1318 household hazardous waste site.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Also authorizing the board president to execute the request for payment for MDQ in the amount of $11,460.86 for solid waste assistance grant agreement number SWC 525 household hazardous waste collection program. Board approved 1/6/2020 and extension board approved 11/1/2021.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor of that motion say aye. All opposed, motion carries. Order adjudicating Friends of the Court in service volunteer training held on Saturday, November 5th, 2022, 12 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. The Harrison County Agricultural Center. Gulfport. Training had to be rescheduled due to trainer being sick. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order denying a claim of Victor E. Munding for damages associated with injuries sustained from a bicycle accident on the sidewalk of Sand Beach along with Highway 9 between Minge Avenue and Japonka Drive.
Motion. Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, well, is that part of Harrison County's?
That's good, we don't know where it happened, we don't know anything about it other than the letter that we got. Tim, Chuck didn't know anything about it, never heard of it before. There's a statute of limitations issue, which is why we're moving there quickly to deny.
But Tim, that sidewalk is north of that,
Should be the city.
seawall. That's
MDOT,
the city.
We're not in the city, so. I don't know where it was, that's the problem. But he should have seen it either way.
I don't know, we had to go through that before, right after one of the storms, and it was dark.
Yeah, we had one where they took down the sign and the guy fell on the screws sticking up.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
But that's different, we actually did that. We took the sign up for the hurricane and left the screws sitting there. They had a cone, the cone blew away or something.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
I don't know much about this one, we didn't get much information. Where it is, we don't know.
And we're denied.
Yeah, we're denied. And there's a statute of limitations issue.
All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving the waiver of rental fees for the use of the Diablo Civic Center by the City of Diabloville to host the Bass Tactic Tournament on November 25th through 27th.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
Can you add, would this be part of the interlocal, or this something else?
It's just a waiver.
Just a waiver.
Waiver could be.
Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All
I
that
don't know
now.
what a Bass Tactic
I have no
tournament
idea.
I'm scared to ask those questions.
Bass tournament.
Fishing tournament.
The fishing tournament.
Well, that's for the bass, but what about the tactic?
Order.
And they ain't a lot of bass at the Diablo Civic Center.
They go up in the rivers.
Or they're not clean.
Oh, okay.
They go up by me.
104 is order acknowledging receipt of and concurring with the proclamation by Governor Ted Reeves declaring the following as legal holidays.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Order approving installation of street lights as listed.
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? All
Oh,
in favor
it's
of the
dark
motion
up
say
there in
aye.
your district.
It is.
All
Trying to
opposed?
shed some light over there.
Let there
Motion
be
carries.
light.
Order adjudicating the authorizing expenditures as listed as necessary to advertise and bring to favorable notice of the opportunities, possibilities, and resources of Harrison County, including the county logo being displayed along with the link displayed to Harrison County Online. Motion.
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion. What are we adjudicating? I still
That's the wording that.
take that word out, because we're not, none of this has happened yet.
No, you have to adjudicate that it's necessary to advertise the resources of the county.
Oh,
That's
I
why
thought
it
that
says
meant this
adjudication.
stuff in the paper.
That's what the statute says. If the board adjudicates that it's necessary to
That's what I thought.
There's two different meanings to the word adjudicate.
Y'all already adjudicate something that's already.
Yeah,
Already
I'm
done.
new day, I'm sorry.
Adjudicating.
Tricia did it.
This has happened.
Okay,
Problem.
any further
What's
discussions?
wrong?
All in favor of the motion say aye. All opposed?
I'm sure it's correct. Yes, you did.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That should do it. Going around. Tim, you have anything? Tim, you have anything?
I do. There is a case with Larry D. Jones versus Kirk Clark and a host of other people where the county prosecuting attorney had to recuse himself, the judge recused himself. They're asking the board to appoint a special prosecutor in accordance with 19340 of the Mississippi Code. So we need to appoint a special prosecutor. I will volunteer if you want me to do it.
As a special prosecutor?
Yeah, it's just one case, and then, you know, it ain't gonna take very much time.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Or if you want to appoint somebody else, we'll appoint somebody else.
You'll do it.
You're familiar with it. You already offered now.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
I think if the discussion for Tim makes a good persecutor. I mean prosecutor.
Tim, anything else?
One more, I do have a matter for executive session. Wait to do that, Pins versus Harrison County, we need to discuss in executive session.
Okay. Angela, you have anything?
I do not think.
Ms. Ladder?
Yes, sir, more for informational purposes, that the Harrison County Utility Authority is, of course, in the process now of negotiating both the garbage pickup and the debris pickup with Pelican. Me and Cummings is involved in that. And I've had some issues, and I don't know if y'all are aware of it, but I am, that with Pelican having to be called all the time to pick up those, y'all are familiar with it. And I've explained to the utility authority that we should not have to do that.
Right.
Your secretaries and my secretaries are staying on telephone, communicating either with the utility authority or with Pelican to go pick up what they contractually obligated to pick up to start with. So what I'm asking is, and Tim, I think you might need to be involved in this, if somebody calls, the first question that needs to be asked, where is that debris? And if it's in front of a house, Pelican is supposed to pick it up.
I just had it went through this, and it was in front of the house.
That's right.
And it took 2 months, stayed on the phone with them, and the neighbors around them were upset.
Well, Peyton,
Storms are coming.
let me make a suggestion too. Peyton shouldn't have to stay on the
She
telephone
should.
with anybody.
Civil.
If there's a problem,
called,
the utility authority is the contractor.
Right.
And there's a contract manager out there, Alan Lane. It needs to be called. And let
Mr.
him
Martin, the
handle that.
neighbors start calling me as the elected.
Pardon me?
Their neighbors call me as the elected official complaining about the trash.
Yeah, because they think it's us, Harrison County.
Yeah.
But I'm just simply saying to you, have your secretaries informed that they need to direct those calls to either to Alan Lane, or I direct it to him because he needs to keep up with the problem, because they could be fined. And if he's not aware of it, then the fines don't occur.
This is a major problem, and all of our secretaries spend countless hours dealing with this.
And then our road crews go back and clean up
Oh,
after.
it's terrible.
Especially when the storm's coming and they
Then when
got
they call
stuff
Pelican,
out.
Pelican tells them it's ours to call
They sure
us.
do.
So it's a back and forth game.
Yes,
We've got to get a handle on it.
yes.
They're getting paid for a contract and the service they should be offering residents.
Connie wasn't there, I don't think you were at the last meeting, but I made it clear that Harrison County was not gonna be their backup.
Correct.
That's what we're doing
And
there.
it has,
I know it, and that's what,
they say it has to be in front of a physical address,
Not a
okay?
vacant lot.
But they
Now,
put it-
are you on a corner, and just because it's not in front of your house, it might be over here on the side. They're saying it's not in front of a physical address.
We gotta get that straight, because they should pick that up.
And see, a lot of times, the corner house, it just happened to me again, as a matter of fact, Ms. Tricia can attest to this. Same thing, they put it on the side instead of where the garbage can was, but they did it because it was safer on the side. Wasn't blocking stuff, and then
Excuse me.
they finally picked it up now, but that was after several phone calls.
We've got to get some control over this, because what's potentially
It's gonna take a lot,
happening
I
is
see
we're
it.
paying Pelican to pick it up, and we're going, and some of our crews picking it up, and we're paying double for it.
Exactly right.
Right, so I'm all with that. You know, like Rebecca said, if you live next door to an empty lot, just naturally, you would think, well, I'll put the debris over there, so it's not in front of my house.
But we've
So
done,
then they won't pick it up.
we're paying a firm out there to advertise through Facebook or whatever, computer, informing people of all that kind of stuff. So they should be informed, but you're not gonna get 100% anyway.
So what do you do, Tim? Send them a letter that they need to start complying with the contract, or we're gonna find somebody else?
Utility authority needs to send.
No, it's,
Oh, utility authority?
That's what I'm saying, Harrison County is only a participant. Harrison County is not the contracting agency, it's the utility authority.
So what are y'all gonna do?
Well, that's what I just got through telling you.
Just put it on there.
All,
No,
you
don't
know
split
what, all Hades broke loose out there because of this issue. And I've had enough of it with Pelican, and I'm telling the utility authority. I even proposed the possibility of looking into us doing it ourselves, the county and the city. Now,
do it.
wasn't about ready to get in it by ourselves, Tim, don't want to go through that, we've already been through that, so. But I suggested it because I think we can do it, and we could probably do it cheaper than that $1.5 million we pay in Pelican a year. Harrison County is only paying that.
I know we can do it
But the cities, to be honest with you, the cities knocked it down, they didn't want to discuss it, so us doing it ourselves is a non-issue now, okay?
All of our cities knocked it down.
All, three of them let it be known when I made that proposal, I asked them to go look. Go look at what they've got, look at what it's costing them, look at the trucks that they already have to be able to pick it up, and they were not interested in it. So I don't know if they're not experiencing the same problems we
One was
are.
in the city of Gulfport, one was in the city of Biloxi. I actually had several in the city of Biloxi.
Well, maybe that's what's happening, maybe,
But they kinda in the city.
maybe they're not aware of it
Maybe
like we are.
not, because they call me.
You get the calls like I do, each one of us.
I've gotten tons.
But apparently
Maybe
some
they
of
don't
the
know.
officials in the city might not be getting the calls we're getting.
Like Timmy
It's
said,
going
one
through
lady
the-
told me she called Pelican and they gave them her office number.
This
This has
been
gotta
a
stop.
problem.
Bad. That's not right.
It has to stop. I can't tolerate it anymore, and I made that clear to the utility authority. They're gonna have to get that under control.
Well, the thing is, when you got piles sitting and they won't pick it up, it becomes a dump site.
Well, then it dies.
Everybody else comes by.
And then the guys that come pick it up are mad because it's all dead. They go to pick it up, and leaves flying everywhere. Well, I want to say, well, if it didn't sit there too
And
much.
what-
And then try
Put it
snakes.
out there.
Keep in mind now, there is a size limitation
Yeah, but it's not.
that they put, this is not to clean up lots or to clean, cut
No, right.
trees. This is
Just
for
your
the
basic.
normal debris that falls in people's yards. But the problem is they put a pile out there, they don't pick it up on their regular schedule, so they put more on it. And the next thing you know, the pile's larger than it's what it's
Or somebody's
supposed to be.
riding by, they drop this.
You have to go
That's right. Okay, I just want, I'm glad that y'all are aware of that. I wasn't sure how much y'all were aware of it.
Every time I get a call, I'm gonna call.
So,
Email.
the utility authority
Alan Lane,
needs to be informed of every problem you have with Pelican, because they're the contract manager, and there's specifications in the contract that can be fines and all that to
I'm
them.
gonna tell
But
him.
they gotta know, he's got to know about it.
Yeah, okay.
So make sure they call, your secretary's refer,
I'll call,
calls to, Alan Lane at the utility authority.
Alan Lane.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Rebecca?
All I have is Harrison County Fire Rescue Department is asking for us to waive the fees for their Thanksgiving party, and it would be at the county farm evacuation shelter. I'm fine with that if y'all would.
So they haven't, you got a contract?
Oh, we don't?
We don't, because that's the county
It's a
department.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
All right, then that's all. Thank you.
See, I'll make that motion.
Wait a minute, let me understand what you said. That's a county agency, not an employee.
It's a department.
Department.
Fire services
Yeah.
department of the county.
And we don't have to waive the
We have
department.
on that, the online where they do the leases and everything, we have them on the booking
I just think somebody do
where it says county function or county something.
It's
We
exempt.
just mark it
But
that
for a
way.
department, not for an, not a county employee.
No, no,
County
no.
employee, yeah.
Like I just had the sheriff's department have their graduation, because that storm was coming.
That's
They-
fine.
We just let them.
As long as cool. That's all I have.
I don't have anything.
I have the resignation letter, and I'd like to read into the minutes of Kim Fritz, and also I'd like to nominate in her place, Luann Pavis, who is the chief executive of the Scarlet Pearl Casino Resort.
So are you making a motion to accept the resignation
And-
and replace with Luann? Okay, I'll second.
Of what?
Luann's agreed to do it
Mhm.
Tourism.
for tourism.
Tourism
Cool.
Commission.
She was on it once before. so-
Yeah, it says, I would like to thank all the Board of Supervisors for allowing me the opportunity to serve on the Mississippi Gulf Coast Regional Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Gulf Regional Tourism Partnership for over 11 years. As you know, the tourism and the hospitality industry afforded me my professional career, and I have enjoyed being part of it for the past 40 years. As such, I have served on the Tourism Commission with passion and a true desire to help make coastal Mississippi a more widely known and desirable destination, which has taken a lot of personal time and commitment. Although I have not yet reached the end of my appointment, I respectfully request your acceptance of my resignation as the Harrison County District 5 Tourism Commissioner, effective upon your appointment of my replacement, so that I may focus more on my attention of my business and other personal demands. I do this knowing that the coastal Mississippi has strong leadership in place and the new executor of her team of employees and my fellow commissioners that will continue to move us forward and exceed the expectations of the Board of Supervisors and tourism industry. Please be assured that although I no longer am involved in the official capacity, I will personally continue to support the mission of tourism on the coast and help in any way I can. Sincerely, Kimberly Fritz.
Okay.
Thanks.
Have a motion?
We got to get a second on the
Second.
appointment. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
I'm sorry, I did have something.
Okay.
Oh, I ran into one of our appointees at the Gulf Regional Planning Commission. He's planning to step down, and he hasn't yet. So y'all just kind of put on Mr. Robert Karinsky.
Who?
Robert Karinsky.
Oh,
But he hadn't officially resigned, but just kind of be thinking if y'all know somebody.
Is it an at-large or
I
someone
don't
has
know.
to live somewhere?
I think that's a board appointment.
I think it's
That's
but
a-
I don't really,
That's not a.
and
Uh,
he just mentioned it, so
Okay.
y'all just be thinking about it.
Planning Commission?
Gulf Regional Planning. What, the what?
Gulf Regional Planning.
Planning Commission. But he has not resigned yet, so
No.
I may be speaking out of school, but he just told me. So y'all be thinking about it.
Just out of curiosity, what is it, the bus transportation commission?
CTA.
Yeah, CTA. That hadn't come up, and we have appointments on that, or one appointment on that, and I hadn't seen that.
Mary Bankston's on it, District
Jeannie
5.
Has
No,
that-
Jenny Fellows
Jenny
is on
Fellows.
there.
Who?
Jenny Fellows, but I don't, you're right, I don't remember.
That's been years.
Will you
I
check
thought
on
he
that,
had, you
Brittany?
sent us anything? I'm not, I'm just curious.
Brittany charter.
I sent y'all I sent your assistants the 2023 appointments already, but I'll take a look and make sure.
Yeah,
we
look,
just- I hadn't
send
seen
send
that.
all the appointments to all of us so we can see.
I did.
Because I forgot.
I know you did.
I sent the whole list, but I'll send it,
Okay,
I'll
that's
look
I
at
just
it.
hadn't noticed.
Yeah, I sent your assistants the entire 2023, whatever is due, so
Yeah, I used to look at that, and I
I'll
didn't
look- I'll
remember
take a look at
CTA
it.
being on it.
I'll look at it.
I did look at that list and I did not see CTA.
I'll look
I
at it
didn't
and
see
see.
it either.
Yeah, I forgotten about that too.
Or we need to send you a list of all the past appointments that you have done, reappointed.
You're not supposed to hold over anymore. That's the problem.
Oh, yeah. You- I know we got one on tourism that's
You
on
need to reappoint them or appoint somebody new.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so I guess we'll send you a list of past.
Send us that list too to make
Yeah.
sure we're.
I got
The
it.
ones that have not been reappointed.
Yeah.
I'll look at it.
Okay, thank you.
Are you done?
I'm sorry.
I sent an email, we got the report from MDEQ on the first round of the ARPA funding, and we did not receive.
No
it.
matching, huh?
No matching.
Get a girl on it.
And then the other thing was on the zoning administrator had not accepted our offer. So I didn't know what y'all wanted, if y'all wanted to open it back up or what y'all wanted to do.
Turn it down altogether, or you just,
Well, I didn't offer the additional funds.
I'd say offer it, because
Yeah,
we
at
need
this
a
point, we
zoning
gotta
person.
have somebody.
Can't say publicly, I don't think. That's
Offer
my.
more money.
What was the amount again? Did you offer?
70.
70.
But he
70.
wanted 75.
That's originally what
I'll say offer him 75. That's what
Who's
he
that?
said.
Me too.
First guy?
My inclination is not to negotiate with somebody like that new coming in, especially when we offer him the highest amount. you know,
It was
the highest amount. However, we need somebody.
we in a
And
spot.
I'm willing to eat, swallow.
And then if he don't take
And he
it,
didn't take it.
then re-advertise and just do it all at once.
Do what now?
I said, now if he says no, then
We
let's
re-advertise. Yeah, we don't
Get
go
it
any
going.
higher than that.
Cause I want old girl to take it, but she won't.
She won't.
Be hiding your face, you know I'm talking to you.
It's like she got a handle on it.
So Pam, you're saying we are gonna offer him what he was
Yeah.
asking?
Yeah.
That's all from the
If he
city.
turns it down,
Yeah, then,
Then that's it.
who you point at? Oh,
the person
April?
doing it now.
Person doing it now.
oh, you pointed at me, I was like,
No.
what?
No,
April, you know what?
More of a headache than what you want, so.
come on, girl.
Sometimes peace of
I
mind
gotta
is more
take a
important.
short break.
No, okay, we're done.
I
think
just
we're
gotta
done.
stand up.
Take a
Oh, we have a
break.
fourth executive session.
You need
Oh,
to get a motion to go into executive session.
Yeah.
So moved.
Motion,
Can we do it
second.
here? Because I got this computer, I'd like y'all to see that.
But can I take a real, I just gotta stand up.
During the course of executive session, I discussed with the board a matter of pending litigation strategy, and that litigation, no action was taken.
Okay, it's
A little on that road.
Okay, does anyone else have anything? I'm going to get a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Let me ask you something. You mentioned Marlon